Hi there, friends. I have seen the latest MCU film, a multiverse of misleading expectations that have apparently upset a lot of people, but I'm not one of them. All right, we're here to talk about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, amongst other things that we're going to do today here on the Fake Nerd Podcast, episode 282. I am Sparks Whitty. I am Brandon T. McClure. I am Ben Magnet. And I am Ryan Eliopoulos. Thanks for joining us today.
Not true.
I thought I was Brandon T. McClure.
No, I don't think so.
Oh shoot! My whole life has been a lie.
Identity.
Oh, okay. I'll be Doctor Strange.
Listen, guys, we can't get into any of this madness too early on the podcast. It's way too early for that.
That's true. Hi, guys.
Welcome to Sunday, the Lord's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Oh,
Happy
yeah.
Mother's Day.
Also that. I didn't realize that.
What a week for mothers.
Yes, you're right.
Across the board,
Representation.
We're talking
of all
about
kinds.
the very upsetting politics of our country.
Oh yeah, that part.
What a week for mothers.
Yeah.
True. Very
I
true.
forgot about.
Text
You
your
know
mom.
what? I forgot about that bit. That bit sucks.
It's true, yeah.
The world sucks. Our country sucks. But let's talk about comics.
Yes, there is some positivity in the world, and it involves dead men.
I've got links for you guys. Should you want to visit them, I have links in the description for our beautiful, wonderful audience.
Hello, audience. Looking good.
As always, my screen rant work is linked below. Are you okay, Sparks?
This
Yeah,
Diet Coke tastes weird, man.
Yeah, it's because it's diet. It's because it's diet.
I mean
diet.
weirder than
Oh.
the
Because
usual weird.
Diet Zero.
You sure it's not the Cheeto brand?
What?
Ew.
I don't want to take. No.
We're gonna set
Listen,
that
Mountain Dew, maybe, but Cheeto, don't be crazy. Come on.
No. I was going somewhere with the former president of the United States. I don't call him by name. I call him the Cheeto.
Oh, I don't. Okay. Well,
You know how he used to drink Diet
See,
Coke?
I don't
know
know
that.
anything about that man by choice, and I resent the fact that you have used a food product that is delicious to represent the most hated man in America.
Ooh.
Oh no, the food product's great.
I'm upset with you. I am upset. You out.
Anyway,
Ben?
Mountain Dew is really good.
Ben is on timeout for now.
Sorry,
Forget
Ben.
I have power too.
Okay,
God, it's
so
Illuminati.
we have links in the description. I'll let you talk. We do have links. We have my screen rant work. Obviously, is linked below. Related to today's topic, I did a Young Avengers list. That's up now. There's an Incredible Hulk list up. There's a Star Trek Picard. Star Trek Picard ended this week. I did a Easter egg list for Screen Rant. You can find all of those linked below at my author page on Screen Rant. I also did three other pieces. It was a busy week for me. I did a Jurassic World piece where I talk about a very strange thing that Colin Trevorrow said about the Giganotosaurus. Where
Terrible,
he called it.
man.
Well, I mean that's its name.
It's real or not, it's bad.
And he described it as his movie's Joker, which I thought was strange. And I just kind of, it's an animal.
The dinosaur wants to watch the world burn.
So I wrote about why I thought that was weird. I talk about kind of the struggles that the Jurassic Park franchise has been having since Jurassic Park 3 to have a quote unquote villain dinosaur. That's all in that piece that I wrote. Pretty happy with how that one turned out. I also wrote about the surprise casting of the first captain of the USS Enterprise, Robert April. We now know that all three captains of the Enterprise will be in Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Robert April being the one from the animated series, which is not canon.
Now
but not Archer.
Archer is 100 years ago. He's dead.
Right. But
he's
that's
still a
not
captain.
the first captain?
No, sorry. Archer is the captain of the NX-01. Yes, the first ship to have the name Enterprise. That is Archer. Kirk's Enterprise, the 1701, had two captains prior to Captain Kirk. Robert April, and Christopher Pike.
Is it Scott Bakula? That was the guy who was?
Yes.
Scott Bakula was
Scott
Archer.
Bakula erasure.
He's 100 years ago. He's dead.
I don't know. I feel like it's a real quantum leap to forget about him, but sure.
Oh, I like
Nope.
it.
Hey, there's a ship named the USS Archer because he actually became the president of the Federation. So
Well, that's awesome. I'm really glad that they can acknowledge men of a certain age.
I don't know any other Scott Bakula properties.
that's it for me too.
That's it.
Oh, he's in that Kevin Spacey movie.
No, he isn't. That's it.
I mean, you can also. I talked to my buddy Chuck. I mean,
What are you?
Is he on Chuck? Is he in Chuck? You got to chuck him out of this conversation. Am I right?
All right, that's it. That's 3. I had my 3. Rule of 3. So Robert April has been cast. The controversy, just to explain the piece, is that he was cast as a black man, and he was introduced as a white man in the animated series. The animated series. Yes, that happened. The animated series, however, is not canon. Elements from that show have been established to be canon, but the show itself is not. So this is technically the first canonical appearance of Robert April.
Interesting.
So I write that. So I kind of write about like.
Do you know why the animated series isn't canon? Do we not have time for this?
No, we do. Gene Roddenberry hates it.
Okay, that's like it.
That's it.
The creator's like, no.
He hated it. He wanted it stricken from the canon. And all that's in the piece. If you want to read more about it,
I do.
Okay, well, it's there.
All right, I'll be back.
And then I wrote the longest piece I've ever written. I have been, as you know, if you've been following me, I've been writing a series called Revisiting the Infinity Saga, and about 5 articles in, I realized, there's a lot of other stories I want to tell about the Infinity Saga, about Marvel Cinematic Universe just in general. So I decided to create what I call interludes. So every 10, I write an interlude. So this is the first interlude, and it was about the Defender Saga. I really wanted to give them their due, so I wrote a 4-page long essay on their history, why I feel like they are actually important to the canon of the MCU, the controversy of like whether or not they are, and what they're not, like what Jeff Loeb thought, what Kevin Feige thought, and kind of like going through that whole thing. Really, really enjoyed writing that piece. The reason why I've been taking the 2-week long break was because it took me 2 weeks to write that piece. So that's finally up now, and then next week will be 39 back to the Infinity Saga. So yeah, that's all my stuff.
I'm really glad looking back a few years ago to see you come full around. Like, actually, it's important to the MCU. God damn it.
Well, yeah, I mean, like over the years, and it was just solidified with like with what's happening in Phase 4. That I was just like, the thing is. Even if the shows were like erased from canon, I always felt like even if Kevin Feige was like, you know what, they're not canon, we're gonna just erase these. I think the moment in time where we had 4 MCU shows on Netflix was a very important moment, and I wanted to give that I want to just give that space to do it, and I think I did a good job. So
I am in agreement. Good job.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I didn't read it yet, but I'm glad you did it.
Oh, great. Now, Ben.
Yeah?
You had an OSG article that you did not promote at all this week.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, I'll talk about it a little bit. Pretty much it's all about why Sonic fans are mad right now. I mean, yes, we're getting Sonic Origins, which is great, but of course, Sega is. We talked about this at length, I want to say a week or 2 weeks ago on the show, so I won't get into much of it. But once again, just me extrapolating and brought in, I don't know another adjective for what it means to broaden a topic, but it's just me talking a little bit more about why Sega fans and Sonic fans are mad, because Sega is just saying, hey, here's these BS things that we're counting as DLC, which shouldn't be DLC, but they are DLC, and yeah, people are pissed off and mad about it, so that's why.
As is the internet.
As is the internet, yes.
Go back to what I just talked about with Robert April. Man, people are so upset about that. They're like the wrong people were upset about it. And I was just like, it's not canon, guys. Shut up.
It's always the wrong people.
Two sci-fi shows casting black actors this week and getting the internet all riled up.
Wow. And Ben, 2 episodes from Grayson Live dropped this week for Super Mario 3D World.
Yep, Super Mario 3D. That's on his channel. You can go check it out. Especially the first one's very funny because he decides to poke the bear. You want to know what that is? Just go ahead and watch the episode. I know Brandon knows because I know he watched it.
I did watch it. It is 15 minutes of you being upset about a sports thing. It was quite funny.
Oh, is it? Ooh.
Yes.
No,
I'm
don't
gonna
tell
watch
him
it.
that. Make him watch it.
Yeah, okay. That's all of the personal links.
Oh, there's
Um,
my episode was Lack of Genius isn't in there.
shoot. Oh, I forgot about your episode of Life of Genius.
Hot dog.
Promote it now.
Yes.
By the time the you won't get it live, but once it's up, I'll put it up when we're done.
All right. So I was a guest host on the Lack of Genius podcast. I was a guest on their show once before, where I quizzed the hosts Kevin and John on retro video games. This time I quizzed them on Super Mario Brothers. You can go find them on anywhere you can listen to podcasts, or even on YouTube. They have a YouTube channel now. Look it up, and it's Lack of Genius podcast. And I quiz them on Super Mario Bros. It's a great time, and I can't wait to go back. They're really cool dudes. It was a really fun episode. I really enjoyed it.
It's Mario time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's all the personal links in the description. And Sparks, you worked your ass off this week. You got your life settled. You got things straightened out. You're running on a bad diet soda. And you put up 3 episodes of our Fake Nerds Watch series. One for Moon Knight, which is episodes 4 and 5, and then 2 separate episodes for Star Trek Picard, episodes 8 and 9.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Thanks, bud.
Getting back to the groove. Woo!
Yeah, really appreciate that. Episode 6 of Moon Knight is recorded and will be up soon. And episode 10 of Star Trek Star Trek Picard, episode 10 will be up soon. And the first episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds will be up soon.
I think this is the best moment for me to bring this up. That like one of the things I'm doing for the editing internship I'm doing is that I edit like this TikTok pop culture show, and they recently discussed anticipating the release of Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
And in it, they're like doing this blurb where they do a brief description of it, and they say like, Wanda Maximoff and Stephen Strange have to deal with the fallout effects from Spider-Man: No Way Home, and I was like,
Is it though?
that's not true.
That's how they just get people in the theaters.
Yeah. Definitely like running off just that No Way Home post-credit scene, which I'm like, I guess that's fair. It does lead you to believe that's what's going to happen. It was just interesting, like the concept of like, and then one of them was talking about like, that's my most anticipated thing, because they talk about like a few things that are happening this week, and it's like, that's my most anticipated thing because I just need to know what happens next. I'm like, these are not nerds. These are young 22-year-old ladies who like are not in the nerd culture, but they are in the MCU culture. It was just very, very interesting to watch that kind of different spectrum of excitement. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess they're Cassie casuals then.
Well, no, they would still be nerds if they're into the MCU.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. You can be hardcore into the MCU.
Yeah, you
All
go.
right.
There's
So
just
that's
not
all-
a lot there, yeah.
That's all the links below. Check out all those. Really happy with a lot of those. Most of those, all of those. I don't know why. It's whatever. Who wants to go first of the week?
I'll do it. First of all, I just realized that this little pumpkin skeleton guy he has a green cloak, and the cloak's a green screen, so he can Doctor Strange away. I think that's great. I didn't do a lot this week besides trying to stream, and most of those streams had some type of technical difficulty, which was frustrating. But you learn how to get over these things by doing them, so it's nice to learn. I played. For Star Wars Day, May the 4th be with you, I played Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, which came out in 2004. I played that game religiously as a kid. That was back when that's the time period where I was so in love with Star Wars, where I was in a clan for Star Wars Battlefront 2 and for Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. And that's when I wrote fan fiction on StarWars.net. And replaying the story of that game, it reverted me back to my childhood. I'm like, oh my God, I remember exactly what to do for every single one of these levels. It was like that. It's just because I did it so many times. I won't talk about it that much. There is one great level where you crash land on Tatooine, and there's no combat in it. You are trying to fix your ship, and there's sandworms trying to kill you the entire way. Anytime you step on sand, they come and eat you. So you have to parkour your way around, get different ship parts from a scrapyard, and then come back to your ship and fix it. And I'm like, that's a really fun mission. It has no combat. You see people running around getting eaten by sandworms. Really good stuff. I played some Fortnite with my friends. I don't think I played any Fortnite with you, Ben. I did play some Elden Ring with you, but we could talk about that later. I played some Stanley Parable, which is a really, really cool narrative-driven, how do I describe this? It's a game where it gives you multiple choices at all times, and there's a narrator trying to tell the story of Stanley. And it's like, Stanley walked through the left door, and there's two sets of doors. And if you go through the right door, he's like, well, that's not part of the story, Stanley, is it? And it's one of the most, truly one of the most unique, fun games. Like, it won a bunch of awards when it came out like a couple years ago, and I got a PS5 remaster with a bunch of new content. I'm going to stream it some more. This is one of the few times where I'm like, you guys should watch my YouTube videos of it, because I know you're not going to play it, but you should see what type of game this is, at least the first one, because it's truly hilarious. Don't watch the first video because the sound doesn't work on it, and I'm just going to replay the thing again. But it's so fun, and it's such a fun game. It's the type of thing like, I wish we could all do a let's play of it together. It's like that kind of game I wish we could all do. But we can't do that. But it's a lot of fun. And then I played, I don't remember what else I played. Lots of Elden Ring. I played lots of Elden Ring. That's about it. I'm still playing Elden Ring. I almost started a new character, but then I went back to my 160-hour character, and I'm like, what if I went this way and then there was something new? So, that game never ends. That's me. Goodbye. Oh, I saw Doctor Strange. Bye.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
All right.
I didn't have a lot. I'm still in the background kind of like absorbing Clone Wars while listening to more Civilized Age podcasts, so that's something like in my downtime I'm doing.
Hell yeah.
I've rewatched 4 episodes of Moon Knight thanks to watching it with the roommates.
I actually got one more thing, and it's because of Sparks, who got it from me. But I have now actually started listening to Auntie Donna's podcast. They are 30-minute episodes. They're very easy to get through. They record them hours long at a time. So like by episode 5, they're just like incoherently rambling. And the whole thing about the podcast is they can never stop. They're always yes-anding. They truly just don't stop. And like, they actually start going crazy, and they're like, is this even good anymore? Are we even funny? Legitimately one of the funniest things I've ever listened to in my life. And I'm on episode like 18 of 300. So I'm just like really excited to see where like 100 episodes, just how chaotic it gets. Really, really, really good.
Yeah.
The Auntie Donna.
Oh,
podcast.
Brandon, if you want like a quick pick me up, literally every episode will fuck you up for real.
Yeah.
For real.
I'm into that.
Hell yeah.
It's a good time for sure. I've listened to also a little bit more of that as well. I did watch the What If Doctor Strange episode before seeing this one, and I'm gonna highlight it just to say, like, I think that episode is actually because we didn't know for sure. It does end up, I think, being crucial to Multiverse of Madness, just not in the way we anticipated, because I think I believe more and am more invested in Stephen and Christine's love because of that episode, not because of the original Doctor Strange film. I think that episode does a lot of the work to make it so when I get to him in the beginning of Multiverse of Madness, I'm like, and they're dropping the stuff about him and Christine, I'm clued in already because of that episode more than I am even the original film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so I was like, oh, that's kind of nice, because like I think it did that, which is not the thing that we expected the episode to really like feed into the movie with, but I do think it actually ends up being kind of like, you are benefited a lot by having that in your back pocket.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really happy to do that. I started watching The Bad Batch again because I'd like to actually get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I still need to do that.
So I just started that. I haven't put a lot of time into it. I haven't had a ton of free time this week. So it's only been available in bursts. There's only one other thing I did. Brandon, I was going to say, I thought it was really exciting to see that Melanie Scrofano was from Winona Earp was playing a captain in Strange New Worlds. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, Captain Patel.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
That's my way of letting you know that I watched Strange New Worlds.
You bitch.
I watched the pilot episode of Strange New Worlds.
Did you love it?
I did. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, baby.
I'm gonna watch it soon.
Captain Patel's. I've never heard of her, but she seems cool.
Yeah, I really liked that she was there. I was like, that's Winona Earp. Well, that's nice.
Pike's beautiful beard.
Yeah, that's
big,
a lot.
Big scruffy beard.
Big bushy bear.
Anson Mount doing his best Kurt Russell.
Anson Mount, there's a bit where Anson Mount is clearly having a good time. There's a bit where they get captured and he's just like, take me to your leader.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a fun episode. I thought it was a good premiere episode. I didn't feel like I was left out of the loop by not watching the episodes that involve them from Discovery.
I was actually curious about that because watching it a second time, Zara, I was a little confused. So I was wondering if people would be having not watched Discovery.
They explain the events clearly enough. I mean, it does make me curious because I don't have full understanding, but like we did a thing. It was a big wormhole. Other planets saw it, and now we affected their timetable for evolution. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't need to know more than that.
And what a cool way to do a first contact story that I've never seen before in Star Trek, where it was just like we accidentally gave them warp travel and they turned it into a bomb. So we actively have to stop the species from destroying themselves because it's our fault.
For sure. Yeah, I thought that was cool.
I like that episode a lot. Can't wait to watch it again.
Anyway, that's all I have for the week.
Cool. Why don't I go next? Because you said Star Trek Strange New Worlds. That's one of the things I did this week.
Yeah.
Ben, if you don't mind, I know normally
go for it.
Yeah, Star Trek Strange New World was very good. I was very impressed with it. It kind of brought back a lot of humor that I think has been missing. Not specifically like Lower Decks has its like Lower Decks brand of humor, but it's very much like heightened through. We are a comedy, and Star Trek Strange New Worlds kind of brings back the lighthearted adventure story type humor that the original series had, that the Next Generation had. That I really appreciate. Just kind of modernizing it for like a more modern audience. It was brisk. It's very much the show you want. It's story. It's like a mystery of the week or story of a week or whatever. They got the barely an action scene. Wonderful, good Star Trek. Very happy with it. I love the cast so much.
Is Uhura on it?
She is. She's a cadet in this.
I'm watching that show, man.
And you know what? So there's a character in the show. I've been tweeting about this nonstop, but there's a character on Star Trek original series that I really actively dislike. I think she's horribly written, and I don't think it's a problem with the actress. It is just the fact that Nurse Chapel, who is Bones, is Dr. McCoy's like nurse in the sickbay. She is only ever, her plot lines are only ever, oh, Spock, I love you. Why don't you ever love me, Spock? That's her plot lines. And she's so frustrating. I actively dislike that character. They have completely overhauled the character for Strange New Worlds. It's the most drastic change of a character they've made. And it's so much better. She is such a much more engaging character. She's a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
She's like my standout. Outside of Anson Mount, who I just love.
Sure.
Yeah, really happy with it. Can't wait for the next episode. So down. Keeping it, I guess, in Star Trek out. Star Trek Picard also ended this week. The last episode of Star Trek Picard. I'm not going to talk a lot about it because I'm going to have a Fake Nerds Watch with Cookie. But all in all, I think this season was much better than the first. It was a big improvement. There's a lot of stuff that I really love. There's a lot of stuff that they do to like try to normalize mental health, like depression and anxiety, that I've greatly appreciated. The ending had me sobbing. I just kind of wish the back half of the season was structured better. It does kind of get into like, okay, well, there's a thing in serialized storytelling that the way I prefer serialized storytelling is that you set up a mystery in the beginning, and then throughout the episodes, you are given pieces of that puzzle so that the audience is kind of along with them, because the characters are constantly engaging with the mystery and trying to figure out what's happening or why this is happening. Star Trek Picard does that to a point when it's all of a sudden it's like, okay, why is this happening? 3 episodes later, we are just given the answer. And that was to me a mistake, because I think they just kind of, maybe the pandemic, whatever, rejiggered some stuff. It was just kind of unfortunate that I don't think it quite ended as strong as it began. Still really liked it though. Much better than the first season, but we're losing a lot of characters for the next season.
Well, they got all those original characters coming back.
That's true, but I was still hoping. I'm so excited for that, but like I was hoping that we wouldn't lose the new characters because I like them in favor of. Yeah, but you know, it's fine.
It's a big old cast. It's a big cast.
It's true. And because of Star Trek Strange New Worlds introducing Robert April, I realized I had never seen the animated series. I've seen like maybe an episode, but I was a kid and I didn't quite like it. So this week I started watching the anime series from the beginning. It's really good. Like It's super hokey. I can totally tell why Gene Roddenberry was like, no, this sucks. And I was like, you know what? Honestly, if you look at it as a lens of like, this is a good animated show, it's terrible. But it's got such charm and it's very low budgetness. The humor, it's very funny because it is not taking itself even as seriously as like Star Trek did. Like they knew they were making a kids show. Like kids were going to watch this. And so they made it a lot goofier. It's slightly homoerotic too, because there's a bit where like Kirk and Spock get hit with like a love potion. And it's in the episode is like, Spock, you're my best friend. I would do anything for you, Captain. You're my best friend. Like, and like they're like got their arms around each other, and I'm like, are they gonna kiss?
Oh my!
They look like they're gonna kiss.
Oh my!
There's a really funny episode with tribbles. All the Tribble episodes of Star Trek have been great. This one is no exception. There is one a recurring bit where like these tribbles don't reproduce; they just kind of get bigger. So as they eat, they just keep getting bigger and bigger. And so Kirk walks over to his chair, kicks a tribble, like brushes a tribble off his chair, sits down. A little later in the episode, Kirk walks over his chair, brushes a bigger tribble off, like slightly bigger off his chair. Comes back like later in the episode, goes back to the chair. The tribble is now huge, and he just like shoves it off the chair and then sits down. And then the final one is the best because it's just like he goes to his chair, and Spock's like, "Aren't you going to sit down, Captain?" And Kirk's standing next to the biggest tribble, like it's as big as him, and he's just like, I think I'm going to stand. And I just really liked that.
It's cute.
Really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. It's good to kind of get back to like hokey sci-fi. Like it's super like Star Trek, even in the 80s, started to like lose sight of like the more kind of fantastical 60s elements of like, there's gods and space and they can and like giant green hands and Abraham Lincoln. Like that's all gone in 80s sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
But like going back to that is a lot of fun. There's a certain charm to that kind of like everything in the kitchen sink sci-fi.
Oh yeah, I agree.
What's next? I watched Crush earlier today. I watched a movie called Crush. That we talked about the trailer. That's the girl from Girl Meets World. I forgot it. Rowan Blanchard.
Rowan Blanchard.
Yeah.
And Ali Cavajo.
Yeah. Yes. Moana.
Mm-hmm. We watched the trailer for that recently. Right. Okay.
Yeah. I thought it was excellent. It's very funny. It's very charming. The characters are all very likable. It might be one of my favorite movies of the year. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, it's a movie. I thought it was a show.
No, it's a movie.
Oh.
Rowan Blanchard is great. Forgive me. What's her name? Sparks.
Ali Cavajo.
Yeah, she's great. Just thoroughly impressed by it.
Nice.
I think Sparks especially would enjoy it, but I think all of you would get some sort of enjoyment out of it. It's a lot of fun. Highly recommend. Hey guys, the Sam Raimi movie came out this week. I don't know if you know this. So I did two things. One thing, I watched Doctor Strange. I haven't seen the first film in a while, so I watched the original Doctor Strange to kind of refresh on the events of it because he's been in like 4 movies since. Spoiler alert: there's not a lot jumping over from Doctor Strange to Doctor Strange 2.
Just the one surgeon guy.
Just that guy. But you know what? There's actually 2. There's the thing that she puts the candle in and like explodes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's in the first film. In the first film, Doctor Strange like points that at Caecilius, and Caecilius like, you have no idea how to use that, right? He's
That's
like,
right.
No.
Right. Yeah.
So that was that was cool. But yeah, let me tell you, I was like, man, this is a good movie. And then I saw the second one. But I still really like that movie. I think it's a good time. Benedict Cumberbatch is good as Doctor Strange. I forgot how inventive the final act of that movie was, where it's all a battle going in reverse. I completely forgot about that, and that was really cool to see again.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then I watched Darkman. I haven't seen it in years, so I was just like, I'm gonna watch Darkman. That movie rules.
If I were to get a tattoo of one Sam Raimi movie, it would be Darkman.
Yeah. I really like that movie. I liked it when I first saw it too. This is Liam Neeson starring as an original Sam Raimi superhero that he created.
I got some backstory real quick. Sam Raimi, big fan of The Shadow, desperately tried to get the rights to make the Shadow movie, and he couldn't because there was already another Shadow movie with Alec Baldwin happening around the same time. So he's like, instead of doing that, I'm just gonna do what I want. And I think he made a way better movie than The Shadow.
Yeah, he can certainly come out being like, it's better than The Shadow.
Yeah. Darkman is so good. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my
there's
God.
There's some great prosthetic work with Liam Neeson in the burned face. That's such a cool concept too. The idea like he just like puts a different face on, he changes his voice, and he becomes like the bad guys he's trying to fight.
Mild spoilers for Doctor Strange 2. Benny D is definitely doing Darkman voice in some of the parts of this movie.
Yes. There's a also Evil Ash.
Yeah.
Because the Sam Raimi has this thing where he like puts them in the price, like he's like, they're always gotta talk like this.
Oh, I love it.
So like Evil Ash and Army of the Dead is just like, oh, we're gonna get you, Ash.
Sally Ford.
And then he's Sally Ford. I forgot about that. Hey guys, Army of the Darkness, excellent movie.
Army of the Dead, it's a fine movie.
Movie.
Or no Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness, excellent movie. Darkman, also excellent movie. If you want to watch a weird, fun, stylistic Sam Raimi superhero film, it's really cool. I really like that one.
Also, it's not in the news because it's not real news, but Sam Raimi said like he would love to make another Darkman. So like he just put that in the air after making like a huge blockbuster. So
he can't do that to me.
I'm just saying, Sam, you say those words.
So there are 2 sequels to Darkman already. With Arnold Vosloo.
They're straight to DVD and they're both terrible. I have a Darkman trilogy set.
Me too.
Man, Arnold's
never put in that second movie. I've always watched the first one.
Although the last thing on Darkman, the third movie's called Die Darkman Die, and that's an awesome title. That's pretty good. Bad.
So Arnold Vosloo took over from Liam Neeson because they couldn't afford Liam Neeson. But it's so weird because like Bruce Campbell is at the end of the movie.
He's like
as Darkman.
He's the cameo. He's in every Raimi movie, man.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, he's in it specifically because Sam Raimi wanted Bruce Campbell as Darkman, but the studio wanted Liam Neeson.
Yeah, still a good choice.
Yeah, really like that movie. K, and then I watched.
K.
I read Original Sin, the Jason Aaron event, Mike Deodato, that kind of bridged. I mean, it's not really a Thor event, but it is important to the Thor story, which is why I read it, because it's where he became unworthy. I really enjoyed that event. It was a lot of fun. I always kind of knew some of the big reveals just because I worked at a comic book store when that book was coming out. And so like old Nick Fury coming back and being like, yeah, I've always just been an old man, or that's not necessarily what it is, but like he's always like everyone's been a life model decoy around him. That's
the thing. Every Nick Fury that we've ever seen for the past like 20 years has been a life model decoy, even like the main one, and that's really cool to see.
It's a cool event. I recommend it. And then I read the Thor tie-in, which is collected in Loki, Agent of Asgard, which is Original Sin 5.1 to 5.5 or whatever it is. That's one where Angela is revealed to be Thor's sister
from Spawn.
Spawn's own Angela.
Yeah.
And so like the 10th realm is revealed to be like heaven, and like the angels and Thor and Odin went to war, and they thought they killed the sister. If you read it, if you haven't, read it. I recommend. It's also where Odin comes back to life because he apparently locked himself in old Asgard after Fear itself, with his brother Kull.
He's always coming and going, that guy.
Yeah, so like at the end, so like towards the end of it, Loki's just like, yeah, I took the angels to let me into old Asgard. Can you help us, Father? Let's finish this. Good stuff. That's it. That's my week.
Nice.
Ben.
Let's only talk about the good stuff, not the sad shit, shall we? Elden Ring.
I played that game.
Oh yes, I know you played that game. I've finally cracked 100 hours in Elden Ring. I'm about 110 or so. Ryan and I, we had a good time. We also had a fun time trying to tell Grayson where to go because my buddy Grayson, he started playing Elden Ring, so we played for a hot second, which was really fun.
From like the very beginning.
Yeah, and I mean very beginning. So So seeing my health bar go, because my health bar was like super long where I am, and then to go into Grayson's game because Grayson's under level 20, and it's
It goes
super
from
great.
here all the way to here.
Yeah.
And you're like,
And
oh
even-
wow, level 5. I remember.
Yeah, and even after I died at one point, I saw one of those Caden riders, like those big Viking dudes on horseback with the big swords. After I died and went back to my own world, I just went up to one of them. 2 hits, it was dead. I was like,
Well,
yeah,
Ben,
that's
you're
right.
like level 100. What do you expect?
Yeah, I know. But still, it's just like, yeah, that's right, you little punk bitch. Because I remember being so scared of those guys, and now I see them, it's like, what's up, fools? It's like when you go back into the Celia Crystal Caverns after you get transported there from the Dragonburn ruins.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I am scared. You come back in your level 80s. Sup? You're ready to throw down and throw with some hands.
Real quickly, Ben, be careful when you raise your voice too loud because your mic starts to cut out.
Oh.
You do that on Super Mario 3D World also.
Oh, yeah. That happens a lot. I need to talk to Grayson about that.
Let's go.
Yeah, so Elden Ring is awesome. I was playing a little bit last night. I figured out how to get to Rykard's tower. So right now where my game is, I'm just chilling in front of Rykard's tower. And also I did some self-care on Thursday, which was very, very sorely needed. And by self-care, I just meant Fanny was playing Bugsnax on the PS5. I was playing Advance Wars on my Game Boy, and it was serenity.
So he, in short, he could have gone to see Multiverse of Madness with us, Sparks.
Oh.
No, he had a self-care day.
He had a self-care day, I'm aware, but I'm just saying.
You're going to jerk me for the rest of the episode, aren't you?
No, that's it. I'm done.
All right. But yeah, it was nice. It was nice just to sit back and relax. Once again, playing Advance Wars, really fun game, very challenging. You really have to think and try different battle strategies to win, especially later on in the game. But yeah, it was a very relaxing few days, and something I desperately needed. Had my first therapy session, so woohoo for that.
Congratulations, sir.
Well, no major breakthroughs. It was more of an introductory, finish up some more paperwork questions, yada yada.
Not every session's gonna have major breakthroughs.
Oh, I know. I'm aware. What else? Oh yeah. I was streaming on Twitch with Ryan on Friday night when his cat decided to interrupt in the most glorious way possible. And the best part is we have the audio for it.
It's in hindsight, it's funny. I can't look at her. I can't look at her for like a week because she did bust my TV
again. And
Yeah.
no, it was hilarious because I have Ryan through my headphones and I hear him go, Emma, what are you doing? Emma, no. And then this big crash. And he's like, no.
Did the crash sound good?
It sounded loud. That's what happened.
As long as it sounded extreme.
Yeah, it sounded extreme. It sounded bad. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, Ryan, what's up? He's like, Emma, no. And I hear Ryan go, oh, please don't be busted. But it's busted. It's destroyed. I can't.
It wasn't just busted. It was like, it's not even close to being.
It was. You posted it on your Instagram story, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, it was absolutely.
I believe his caption was, cats are fun. Ha, 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 ha.
Listen, this is the second time this has happened in a year, and that's fine. It's fine. I have lovely, beautiful roommates. Sparks, I live in Sparks' mother's house, and we have some beautiful roommates who had a spare TV. Or not even in less than 24 hours, I had a new TV that I'm using right now. So, you know what? You got to be positive. It's just a TV. Things could be worse.
Yeah. And also, I'm glad that when Emma decided to jump on her TV, we were preparing to go into a dungeon. We
weren't mid-fight.
We weren't fighting a boss.
Can you imagine trying to play that blind?
Yeah, I would have been like this. Ben, tell me left, right, righter, and I'll just spam my yeah. We would have won.
Left. No, the other left.
We would have still won. I ain't scared.
Because I did.
It's like that part where Potato Head is in Toy Story and he says, "Time for Mr. Angry Eyes," and puts his shoes in his face and then just runs into a wall.
Pretty much. Yeah, there was a part where I don't know if I was streaming. I'm pretty sure I was streaming. I summoned a guy in because I was in one of these graves, these heroes' graves, the Gelmir hero's grave. I found it.
I hate it.
And this guy was helping me go through the dungeon, and he just died unceremoniously. Or no, it was a different guy. He was helping me fight a boss. He dies unceremoniously because it's 3 crystal dudes who all attack you at the same time. And the worst part is every single one of their weapons imbues Scarlet Rot, which sucks.
That'll kill you.
It will kill you very quickly if you get afflicted with said rot.
Mhm.
And so he dies very quickly, and I actually finished the fight. I win. Or I won.
It's because you're a pro gamer, Ben.
Congratulations.
Pro gamer.
Yeah. Yep, so that's about it. Watched a certain show with a moon and a night. That was pretty cool. We talked about that. And also, I went and saw this really trippy movie. Although I was bummed I missed a lot of the previews because I tripped and fell where I shouldn't have tripped.
All right.
Yeah, he there is a ledge where there shouldn't be a ledge. So you come off the stairs, and it's very easy to just trip on that ledge at the theater we went to, and he just goes down.
Oh yeah.
Going down.
And he still got the scrape on his arm. For your audio listeners. And your knee, which is already bad, was aggravated.
Yeah, both knees too. So like last night, my right knee was hurting more than my left one. I was like, okay, maybe I'm fine. Maybe it's not as bad as I think it's going to be. And then I woke up today because I have stairs in my house. I was trying to go up and down my stairs. And my left knee, which is the knee I busted when I was in school, that started to hurt a little bit more. I'm like, great. I mean, I can still walk. It's not like, oh, God,
I'll send you my cane. I'll send you my cane.
I don't think I'm there yet, but if I need it, I'll let you know.
I didn't know you guys could see my lightsaber blade.
I mean, vaguely.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, that's my week.
Beautiful.
All right. Cool. Shall we get into our bread and butter?
Can it be the garlic bread?
Yes.
Thank you.
Damn, Ryan. Now I'm really, really craving garlic bread. Like unhealthy.
Ben.
Yeah.
Ben, you're on comment duty forever. I'm not even going to look at it.
Armabita saying hola.
We got some friends in the chat.
Is that Pie?
That's
Marty?
Pie
Yes.
And we got Pie and Marty in the chat saying hello. Hello, my friends.
Okay. Sad news up top.
Oh, man.
Mike Haggerty, who you probably aren't going to recognize this gentleman's name. I do implore you to look him up if you can, because you've seen him in a lot. He was most probably famously in Friends as Mr. Trigger, which was the
this guy, every single person will know this guy. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
That's a shame.
yeah.
Here, I'll show a picture for Ben.
and for the audience, sorry, audio people,
It's gonna be hard. This guy.
Oh yeah, he does look familiar.
He's a character actor. Yeah. Oh man.
You've seen him in things. He passed away this week at the age of 67.
Oh, that's young.
Man, he got up there.
Yeah. Cause of death was not revealed.
I think I know him mostly from he was in Austin Powers a little bit.
Yeah. Like he was also in Star Trek. Like there were
Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget, right?
Okay.
There was a show that he did. He was like Curb Your Enthusiasm. The Community. He was in the fifth season of Community, or the fourth season of Community. One of those. Yeah, I liked him a lot. He was really funny.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, that's a big bummer. Yeah, very, very recognizable character actor.
Yeah. Hiroyuki Watanabe, perhaps. He was he's a famous actor in Japan. He played a colonel in the Gamera films, which obviously I really loved. If you guys have seen Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, he was in that as a prominent role.
Mm-hmm.
Ultraman stuff, like he was huge. He passed away at the age of 66 this week due to suicide.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough over there too, man. It's rough everywhere.
And then we'll probably figure this would happen eventually. George Perez passed away at the age of 67 this week due to cancer, which we diagnosed.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We knew this was on the horizon of this year at some point.
The positive that I mean, the silver lining is like he went out peacefully with his family surrounded by him. That's the most anyone could ask for.
Even more than that, like the positive is that George Perez had the unique opportunity to know how much fans loved him.
Oh yeah,
and because everybody put out praises massively for him.
His family was updating stuff through like Facebook and Instagram and like on
Yeah.
Twitter and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, the fans got to say everything they wanted to say about him before he passed, because they knew it was coming, and he got to live in that, which is really wonderful.
It's also really cool that he got to see JLA Avengers reprinted for the first time in forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is I think one of the greatest comic books ever made, for real.
Yeah.
Like after reading that book, like man, that book is so special.
The man is iconic. He did a guest role on Teen Titans Go, which I watch quite frequently, which is very funny. Him and Mark Wolfman did that. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
more than a single episode.
Yeah, that's great.
His legacy is long. He was an incredible artist. It just kind of sucks because like Neil Adams was last week, George Perez this week.
Yeah, it was
I think George Perez is on some level just slightly softened by everybody kind of having already braced for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neil Adams was.
It's a shame, but like you knew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it still sucks, but at the same time, we all knew this was going to happen eventually with George Perez's diagnosis. Whereas, I mean, not to take away from George Perez with Neil Adams, that was like, wait, what? I thought he was fine.
I think like again, just what we got to see from the comic community for the outpouring of love for George Perez over the past few months was kind of special in and of itself.
I agree.
Yeah.
I love his work. So
Another amazing artist gone before their time.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
It's a big loss.
Yeah.
All right. Other news, casting. Guys, they have told us who the 14th Doctor will be.
Yeah.
It's me.
That's true.
Did you want to say something?
No, I want you to say what you're going to say.
Oh, I actually looked this up. It's pronounced Ncuti Gatwa. From Sex Education and the upcoming Barbie movie, will be appearing as the 14th Doctor under Russell T Davies.
Who is coming back?
Yeah.
I am completely unfamiliar with this person's work, but watching every clip that I've seen online just to get a taste of the type of person that he is, it's going to be really fun. Really good energy. Like, definitely, like, especially with Russell T Davies, like David Tennant, like heavy enthusiasm energy. Like, this is going to bring not just like old Doctor Who fans back. It's going to bring so many new people to Doctor Who too.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I want to get back in and watch Whittaker's run, like just go through it at this point, because I think I'm only missing the special right before it with the last one with Capaldi, and then Whittaker's whole run I'd like to go through.
So there's two things. Sylvester McCoy mentioned that it's good to have another Scotsman as the Doctor. I guess he's Scottish or Irish, or one of the two. I could be forgetting. And he's African American.
Right.
So the first. Sorry, not he's English. The first black person to play the Doctor.
I think we reached a point. Not technically the first black person to play the Doctor now.
Oh yeah, there's that lady, isn't there?
There's the lady who plays the pre-first Doctor.
You're right. So the first black male actor to play the Doctor.
Certainly the first black actor to play the main prominent Doctor for the show.
Yeah.
I think this is awesome. I think there was no world where we went from Jodie Whittaker, if we went back to a man, that it was a white man. I don't think that was ever going to happen. So this is really nice.
Yeah, I agree. I am looking forward to actually getting back into Doctor Who because of Russell T Davies' return.
Same.
And the 60th, I hope is a lot of fun. Like I really hope the 60th is a multi-Doctor adventure, even if it's just a random Doctor.
Sure.
I think the 60th is probably where you bring in all of them that you can. Maybe recast a few, like I thought you should have done for the 50th. Who knows?
That would be fun, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I'm stoked. Obviously, I want to see Paul McGann back, but like I'd settle for anyone.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I really want to give. I love Jodie Whittaker, so I want to give that whole run a chance, and this is a good excuse for me to get back into it.
There are people rightfully claiming that, saying that she's regenerating before the 60th, and she's pregnant right now. Do we think she comes back for the 60th?
I'm sure that there's something.
They're gonna work something in. I'm sure.
I'm sure there will be some kind of appearance.
Yeah.
Are we done with the Doctor Who news?
We are.
Okay. Before we move on, this is something that, like, as we were talking about it, I realized that this should have come up in the news. It's okay that we're not watching the trailer for it because it's barely even 15 seconds. But Sonic Prime did let out a first look. But importantly, Sonic Prime announced Devin Mack is the voice of Sonic for the show, which is a black male voice actor.
I put that in.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah, he has
No, fair. I put it on early. I put it on a little bit earlier, so you probably didn't see it when you looked at it.
Gotcha.
Devin Mack from Bakugan Battle Planet and Angry Birds Summer Madness, longtime voice actor. He's done a ton of stuff, but those are like the things that he starred in. His gonna make Sonic.
Yes,
Cool.
This is only the second time a black male voice actor gets to voice Sonic.
First one being Julia White, of course.
Did I do that?
I mean, just from that quick little sound clip, because I have seen the teaser a little bit a few times. He sounds great. I mean, really, for a split second, I thought that was Roger Craig Smith, and they just maybe tuned his voice a little bit. But the more I listen to it, it's like, no, it's a different actor. I saw the Twitter feed with both Roger Craig Smith and Ben Schwartz congratulating him on being the voice of Sonic and Sonic Prime. So I'm like, cool. I mean,
Yeah,
I like the little snippet. I can't wait for more. I was listening to another podcast where they say this show is aiming to dive into Sonic's character more. Apparently, there's like a redemption arc for Sonic in the show. So it's like, I'm actually okay. You got me interested. Let's see this trailer then.
He murdered someone.
I really like that animation in motion.
It does.
And I think Mac has good energy for Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm excited for the show after Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I can't wait for it to see a trailer. Okay. Percy Jackson.
It's happening.
Obviously, we knew that Walter Scoble has been cast as Percy. Now we know who Annabeth and Grover will be. So Leia Sava Jeffries from Empire will play Annabeth Chase, and Aryan Simhadri from Two by the Dozen recently will play Grover.
Sorry.
Is Grover the goat man?
Yeah, Satyr.
Satyr? I don't
Yes.
remember.
Yeah, I think this is great. Importantly, like to the credit of the Percy Jackson film, Grover was changed to black for that as well.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just glad that they're, Grover and Annabeth are both white in description and illustration for the original books. Diversity came in waves to Percy Jackson. Like, most of the later cast is almost entirely non-white. But that they're willing to just like ignore that for this, I think is great.
Yeah. There's two different, like, it's not like, I don't want to say that actually. I don't know how to make that sound good, but like Grover is Indian in this, and Annabeth is black in this.
Right. I just mean non-white casting. It is nice because I think that like Riordan has been very like pro pushing diversity forward. And I'm glad that he's not married to like his original designs of the characters. And thinks that this is better.
Yeah. And then Suicide Squad, Viola Davis is in talks to star in a HBO Max spinoff of the Suicide Squad. This is probably the James Gunn one, the other one that he's working on.
I would assume, he's like helping making it. I would assume he's not like actually making it himself. But yeah, like I want more of that. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, give me it, sure. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I like Viola Davis.
Ben, did you turn on a fan?
It sounds like there's a vacuuming happening.
No, my roommate's restroom is just right over there. But anyways, Grayson's in the chat saying that he never gets a notification that when we come on. Dude, you gotta fix that, buddy.
Well, you should like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, my guy.
That's true.
Turn my mic
Hey,
off
man.
until that fan goes off.
Thank you.
It works. Ryan, happy news for you, I'm sure.
I don't know.
Well, you know about Jackass 4.5.
Oh yeah.
Coming to Netflix. Well, Paramount Plus has ordered a new Jackass series.
I'll tell you what. I believe Sparks or somebody might have asked the question, do you think Jackass will continue? And I said no. I think this was going to be it. So I am so happy.
When we saw the new one, I was looking at like how many of the young newbies were there, and I'm like, you're not just getting these people for this film.
Yeah, and I was just being cynical for some reason, like with Jackass. I don't know why, but like, oh god, dude, I just want to see people get hurt, but it's like for fun. I love seeing people get hurt for fun. Is so fun. Like when you're in on the joke, it's so fun.
Yeah, it's so interesting that like the movies are Paramount, and so like Netflix gets the re-edited film, and then Paramount Plus gets this new show.
That's it's a weird deal. Yeah,
I'm sure we'll get some motif of how Johnny Knoxville will still show up from time to time, but he's not going to do any of the stuff because he's squarely and firmly done with doing it physically to himself.
I'm sure they'll all like show up in cameo stuff.
But I would kind of love something where it's almost to the tune of like throwing up to the older shows where like not older Jackass, but like older programs that came from films like the Freddy Krueger, Friday the 13th shows. And so like you'll open the episode and there's Knoxville in like a nice robe with a pipe, and he's like, let's watch what the jackasses are doing today. And he like hosts you through each episode. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that'd be fun. Okay. Loki. Only reason why I'm bringing this up is because Michael Waldron, who wrote Doctor Strange: The Multiverse Madness, was also the showrunner and creator of Loki.
Hell yeah.
He is not returning for season 2. He will only be an executive producer. Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead have already been announced as series directors. They directed Moon Knight.
A couple episodes of Moon Knight.
Yes, but they are some of the creators.
The best episodes of Moon Knight.
They are like the co-creators of Moon Knight as well as the writer. And then Eric Martin has been tapped to be the showrunner for Loki season 2. And if you don't know the name, that's fine, because he has only been a staff writer before now. Wrote an episode of Rick and Morty with Michael Waldron, and was a staff writer on Loki.
Cool.
So he's kind of had that promotion.
Right on. I mean, if he's a good writer, he seems like, everyone deserves a promotion now and then. I'm so stoked. Like, I love Loki. I want more of that. I just want more, specifically because Benson and Moorhead did some really cool, trippy shit in Moon Knight, and like they're giving more to do. That just makes me really excited.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll look as good as Moon Knight, because Moon Knight looks great.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Has anybody here read the Project Nemesis book series?
Nope.
Project Nemesis is from Resident Evil, though, if you want to talk about big Nemesis boys.
So there is a book series called Project Nemesis. I'm going to read you the description and then I'll tell you the news. So this is what the book's about. When the DNA of Nemesis, the Greek goddess of vengeance, is merged with that of Mago, a murdered little girl, the resulting trauma-fueled kaiju rampages from the backwoods of Maine to the streets of Boston in search of their killer. Heading up the response to this otherworldly threat is John Hudson, a sarcastic DHS agent whose leadership of the agency's paranormal division was a joke until now.
Okay.
So Chad Stahelski is developing and directing this series for TV.
That's a big description. The DNA of a Greek god is mixed with a murdered child to create a kaiju, and the Department of Homeland Security's paranormal division, that's not Hellboy, is tasked to find it. Interesting. Chad, I'll see what you wait for a trailer. It sounds very anime. A lot of stuff going on.
Apparently, this is a book series that's very well liked in the kaiju community. Matt Frank worked on the design. He's drawn a lot of Godzilla stuff. So a lot of people were really excited for this. I think the description sounds bonkers, and if you could like pull it off, that could be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Just like bringing in like Greek gods, and then just like the murdered child part is what I'm most curious about. Why is it a murdered child in the description?
It's the doctor's daughter, maybe.
Marty, Pi is referring to Moon Knight with the CG budget, not Jackass.
Oh heavens!
What a movie.
Yes.
That'd be wild though.
No, that sounds great, but like
one of the most dangerous animals on the planet. Sure, the Jackass guy should go do it.
I'm curious for this one. I love Chad Stahelski, so like bring it on.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Did you hear that he mentioned that John Wick Chapter 4 is probably the end?
Wasn't there supposed to be like 4 and 5 or something? Or wasn't that?
Well, he said something that like this one wraps up the story, which I guess doesn't mean it's the end.
Yeah, because they're doing like side stuff, so maybe they're gonna like take a break and do other things.
Maybe because Ballerina's coming after.
The Continental is still
that
being
Continental
worked on.
show, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Go Chad. All right.
Go Chad.
Square Enix was in the news this week. Square Enix.
Are we just skipping that Fast X news? It's fine. I just wanted to know.
Did I skip the Fast X news?
Yeah.
How dare you? How could you do
shoot. I did.
That? Yeah,
Fast-
rewind.
Fast X got a director. Justin Lin, if you recall, left last week. And so this past week, we got a new director. Louis Leterrier, who directed The Transporter and
He directed
Incredible.
Transporters 1 and 2, and then Incredible Hulk, also the first Clash of the Titans.
Which is honestly not the best one.
No, but it's not a bad movie either. Here's the thing.
So he's directing Fast X.
Here's the thing. No offense to Mr. Leterrier, he's made lots of really good movies. Fast X, which is the culmination of a saga, he is absolutely being brought in to be a workhorse director. He's like, Vin Diesel's going to work him over, like the producer's going to work him over. It's going to be whatever they want the movie to be instead of what's best for the movie.
It's very much they needed someone that Vin Diesel can boss around.
Yeah.
It's the
thing I talked about last week. Like they couldn't, and again, no offense to this director, they couldn't get an auteur because he would want to make it his own movie. So like they got this guy real quick, and it's a guy who's made generally okay to good movies.
I remember liking The Transporter 2 when I saw it a decade and a half ago.
Yes, he is friends with Statham. There's a connection. Statham probably got his friend in, and like,
hey, I know a guy.
Yeah, I know a guy, and he could surprise us. This could be the exact thing he needed to make a big great movie. It's not going to be a Justin Lin movie, and that's a big bummer.
It's not going to have the visual language that 9 did, which was so cool.
Yeah, it's maybe this will pump something into Mr. Leterrier that aren't in a lot of his other movies.
And interestingly, I wouldn't anticipate at this moment that he stays on as the director for the second part.
That's a good point. I also want to say that I really like The Incredible Hulk. I think that's a really good movie. But yeah, he was a director who I was like, oh, they looked at the people who directed movies with Cars before.
Yeah.
And then they went from there.
Somebody who's worked in the big studio system before, too. Like he worked in the MCU, like at the beginning of it, right? Technically, so like he knows how to work in there. Yeah,
so like I'm sure it'll be fine. I just there was a shot that I really wanted to see, which is the Justin Lin driving a car shot. That like specific shot that only Justin Lin has been able to get in the Fast and Furious franchise. I'm excited to see that again.
My biggest fear is that Vin Diesel will be like, nah, we don't need Justin to do that, and he and
worst.
We'll just do it, but it won't look as nearly as good.
Yeah, it's like people trying to mimic Michael Bay.
Yeah, it's. I wanna believe.
We'll see what happens.
# I wanna believe.
Okay, so Square Enix.
Is this going to be the best movie, Justin? I believe it in my heart.
Ooh. God.
Damn you, Vin.
Square Enix has sold Eidos, Crystal Dynamics, and Square Enix Montreal to a company called Embracer Group.
Yeah.
This deal does not just include the companies; it includes all of their IP.
Up over 50 IP of a bunch of smaller games that honestly haven't seen the light of day because Square Enix doesn't know what to do with its Western studios.
And they also have Tomb Raider.
Yes. So Ben, do you have anything to say? Because I actually know a shitload about this topic.
Oh yeah, I'm pissed off. I mean, at the same time,
I want Ryan to talk first.
Okay, I know. I need to know why Ben is pissed off because there's no reason. There's no reason for.
I'm pissed off because one of the reasons why they're selling this off is because Square Enix is also trying to look more into blockchain technologies.
Oh no, that's fair. That's fair.
That's why I'm pissed off. I mean, now the whole them selling off, studios have done this before. It's like, and I 100% agree with you. Square Enix does not know what to do with their Western properties. They're very good with their RPGs and Final Fantasy, but everything outside of that, they have no clue. I mean, yes, the Tomb Raider games were good. They were amazing games, but outside of that, we got nothing.
See, that's the surprise.
But that's also not true.
That was the surprise to me that it was like I understood like selling the smaller IPs, but it was the big IPs like Tomb Raider that went with it, that went with this deal, and that was the surprise for me.
Yeah. Sorry, you are right, Ben. Like that is I just completely ignore that because I don't give a shit about NFTs and blockchains. But like, remember all the video game mergers that we've talked about in the last couple of months and weeks, and they've all been billions of dollars. Bungie was 11 billion. Activision was 40 billion. Does 300 million sound a little low for the amount of stuff that they got? Tomb Raider alone, that sounds pretty low in the grand scheme of things, right?
That's very low.
Square Enix does not know what to do. They don't know what to do with their Western developers. Like Avengers, they don't know what to do with that game. Tomb Raider, the first Tomb Raider sold like 30 million copies, and they call that a disappointment. They have expectations for some of these games, like the Deus Ex games. Those games are incredible. They didn't sell the numbers that they wanted to, so like that franchise is dead now. There's so many franchises, like slowly Square Enix has become, in a way, kind of like EA did with a lot of their smaller properties, or they just ran things into the ground. Whereas Final Fantasy 14, their MMO of over a decade, is making them millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. They're basically how Epic Games is with Fortnite. They just need Fortnite. So Square doesn't even need Tomb Raider anymore. Not that it's like making them money, even though it is not the money that they need. They're just selling it off for scraps of money. And they're like, oh, we're just going to use those scraps of money to invest in the NFTs, the real future. So like, if you're gonna sell Tomb Raider, which they did the math, like the first Tomb Raider's sales sold more than $300 million. So like they're getting such a great value. In the Embracer Group, it is a new company. It is a European investor group, and they are swallowing developers left and right. And that is in one hand a bad thing. But on the second hand, they're letting developers make games the way they want to, and they're bringing back franchises that are dead. And I personally see no problems with that. They're not firing anybody. They're hiring more people, and they're like, hey, you know that Deus Ex franchise? It's coming back. We're bringing it back. Like Tomb Raider, like, do you guys want Tomb Raider? Of course, everybody wants Tomb Raider. We'll give you a Tomb Raider.
So Grayson had a comment real quickly, if you want to bring that up, Ben.
Yeah, he said, I'm curious if this kills those rumors about another Tomb Raider game.
No.
Hopefully it doesn't.
No. So the thing is, so the Tomb Raider game was happening whether or not, and so this just kind of like confirmed that the Tomb Raider game, if anything, it should give you more incentive to think that the Tomb Raider game is happening, because like, why would they get sold off and be like, we're not going to do Tomb Raider?
Yeah, it's just changing who owns it. And of course, if they're making a new Tomb Raider, they're not going to not make that. Like that, of all the games to cancel, it's not Tomb Raider.
Just after the Tomb Raider game.
So Square owns Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy. So many people are like, okay, so Guardians was a flop to Square Enix, right? And it didn't sell that well, but it sold all right. Like it sold several million copies, but not for how much it cost. It was a disappointment. The Embracer Group came out and said, we own Avengers, we own Guardians. Those franchises aren't going anywhere. That's Marvel. Why would we get rid of Marvel?
Maybe my Christmas wish will come true, and we will get the announcement that Guardians 2 is happening.
Yeah. It's a much better case with this new company than with Square, and which is a shitty thing to say. Because you're right, Ben. Like they are so focused on their Japanese studios. They're only focused on Final Fantasy right now. That's like all they really care about, because it's making them so much money.
Yeah,
and it is a loss for them.
Not only that, is the other news about Yuji Naka in there, Brandon?
No, I don't know what that is.
Yuji Naka. So you guys know Yuji Naka as the man who designed and who designed the Sonic the Hedgehog games for Sega. He was also the game designer and director for Balan Wonderland over at Square. Which was horrible. However, he's suing Square because he was unceremoniously fired, and essentially they pushed him off that project.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. There's this long. I didn't read the whole thing, but there's this long Twitter thread, essentially where he's spilling the beans about how horrible it is working at Square Enix. And this is someone who was well known as a developer and as a game designer, and he was essentially kicked off his project because they wanted to rush the game and bring it out so they can make that money. Unfortunately, we all know what happened to Balan Wonderland. It's not that good of a game, and it sold abysmal.
It's a bad game that sold bad.
Yeah. So there's also that, and then of course there's the news about the Final Fantasy VI Terra statue, which is being sold for $11,000.
Hey man, people like collecting things.
It was a much bigger week for Square than I thought.
Yeah, Square has been.
I'll tell you what.
Hold on. There's been so much shit. Like the reason why I was pissed off that Square. Like at first when I said Square selling off some properties, okay, that's not that big a deal. And then it's like, and they're using the money to go into the whole blockchain. And I'm like, can we not?
Yeah, that is really shitty.
No, because even the president of Square Enix is like, we're gonna be doing play to earn all these games. It's like, no, we don't want that from Square Enix.
Yeah,
not even close.
That's why, again, like this is a good deal for gamers. for the gamers, right? Like, because like
Mhm.
under this other company, again, the same thing that was happening with like Star Wars games under EA. Just like when a company owns it and they don't care, they'll put shit out. They just don't, or they won't even touch it. They'll leave it alone. And like Tomb Raider's so good. And like there's a franchise called Legacy of Kain that hasn't had a game in like 15 years because that company just doesn't give a shit. And those are really cool like fantasy RPG like action games.
Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver is really, really, really good.
And they mentioned like, we know how much you guys love Legacy of Kain and like Deus Ex and all these franchises, and they're like, people just want to play games. It's easy. Let's make the games.
Yeah, we don't want this stupid whole play to earn fiasco, because there's a thing going on in the Philippines right now where there is a certain game that is play to earn, but it's horrible. It is an absolute cesspool of bad shit going down. And
what's the name? What's it called? I want to play it.
Oh god, I can't even remember. It's like some type of gotcha game. It was on that 2-hour video about Line Goes Up about the NFTs. It was a big portion of that.
Yeah, gotcha. No, you're right. I don't want to play that game.
Yeah. So, yeah.
All right.
Square, stop. Just please, for the love of God, stop.
Or
But they won't.
Or just sell all of your games to better companies who want to make games.
I think they made a good choice. Good luck with NFTs. I have no reason to play a game that they have anyway, because I never played a Final Fantasy.
Yeah, you have.
So
it's up to 16. You have way too many to catch up.
You got that Kingdom Hearts sitting right there, baby.
You do.
Oh, you're right.
You do. And then, sorry, one more thing. They also, the director of Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy 16 said they're almost done. I'm like, yeah, I call bullshit.
No, I believe him.
Okay. Trailers.
Pulled into the trailer park.
Okay.
My car's really gross and big.
I was like, is this an airplane? What's happening?
I can't drive stick shift.
Okay, DC League of Super Pets had a new trailer. Yeah. Hi. Okay. Crimes of the Future.
Just real quick. I'm sure kids will love this movie.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like, no offense to this company, it reminds me of just like an Illumination movie where it's like bright, colorful, silly jokes, like it predominantly for kids. And there's nothing wrong with that. Not for me. Like, I wish they just focused on like the super pets and not random turtles that go fast. Because isn't it funny that turtles are fast? We've never seen that before.
I don't understand the decision to not use the super pets. Like, where's Streaky and Kanga? Like, what are we doing?
Dude, the fact they don't have a kangaroo in this movie baffles me.
Yeah.
Right, especially to like use animals that aren't typically used in animated film anyway. Yeah, no, I agree on that sentiment. I think it's cool to like see a different interpretation of the Justice League, and it does seem like there is a solid, thoughtful, heartfelt storyline between Krypto and Superman that's going to be at play, and I think that's cute. And I will admit, like, I thought the opening dream bit, like, not dream, but like the imagination of what he would do to Lois, was funny.
I honestly, I have no problem with any of the superhero stuff. It's just when it's all the pets, just like now it's just the kids movie part. That's
interesting. The Justice League look great.
Yeah, I like all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I think all the designs of the Justice League are really good, and like there's a thing where that I really liked. Actually, I thought this was a funny joke when he's like, Squeaky Bruce gets thrown, and then you just see Batman just like, that better be a licensed product.
I did like that joke. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with Ryan. It's when it's the shelter pet storyline that I'm like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, we're not the target audience. I would be more I would actually be interested if they used the actual super pets.
Right. I mean, like that's the thing is like we could have been part of the target audience.
Yeah.
We're just not.
It's like half.
We went for kids instead of kids and nerds.
Yes. Yeah. Unlike Teen Titans Go.
Exactly.
For the movies.
There's plenty of animated films that are aimed at children that we've all enjoyed. This is just doesn't look like this is going to be one of them. Not on a whole anyway.
Challenges. I think we missed the motion.
I forgot about the challenges of the unknown.
Challenges of Teen Titans Go. Teen Titans Go to the movies. How much of it like this is for you nerds? That was like, what the hell?
Such a good movie.
There's this like. We all like. There's a scene where Robin shoves Bruce's parents into an alley to get murdered. Like that movie is for us as much as children.
Yeah, I like that movie. All right, Crimes of the Future. Star Trek Discovery's own David Cronenberg.
I know this one's for me, maybe for Sparks, but this one is definitely for me. Ben, what do you feel about this movie?
Oh hell no!
Tell me. Tell me about surgery and how it is the new sex.
Yeah, so when I was watching this trailer, the first words out of my mouth when I went to go find the next trailer to watch was, damn, that was creepy. And then I was quiet for a bit, and I heard a scream of glee because I knew that was Ryan all the way from 400 miles north of me saying how much he wants to see this movie. The part where she was going down to make out with the incision on that dude's abdomen was not pleasant. The dude with the ears and the stitched up eyes and mouth was also terrifying.
Looks like Peter Capaldi to me. I don't know what you're
I
talking
think
about.
that's Peter Capaldi.
Right? It just looks like him.
Yeah.
It looked like something I would fight in Bloodborne.
It's true. It's both true.
Before you continue, Marty has been talking about super pets, agreeing with us. I appreciate you, sir.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Been reading Super Pets to his son. Super bummed they're not using it.
See.
Yeah.
He's saying use content the
Wait,
kids are reading. Why wouldn't
You're
they?
telling me there's an actual Super Pets thing that they're not using?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought this was like an original thing. That's crazy.
Apparently,
that's
super
even
pets have lore, and the lore is pretty fun. That's good to hear.
Even crazier.
And he's been reading a Super Pets 2 Pacey, and it's great. Super bummed they aren't using it.
Weird choice.
Next time, just do the last one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I agree that like the super pet lore, like he talked about, like they're really cool characters. They're like the Pet Avengers. Like they're really cool. It's too bad. Anyway, David Cronenberg's Crimes of the Future.
Crimes of the Future.
I watched it and it made me uncomfortable, which means I want to watch more.
Yes. So I didn't know what the movie was after the second trailer, and I have a synopsis. I'm going to read it because I think it's important. As the human species adapts to a synthetic environment, the human body undergoes new transformations and mutations. Accompanied by his partner, celebrity performance artist Saul Tenzer showcases the metamorphosis of his organs. Meanwhile, a mysterious group tries to use Saul's notoriety to shed light on the next phase of human evolution. That sounds crazy.
So I just had a thought, but before I say this thought, I want to be absolutely perfectly clear. This is not me trying to kink shame anyone.
Okay.
But the scene where Kristen
Good start.
But the scene where Kristen Stewart like puts the rod into a body and she does the I was like, this movie was made for sadists.
Oh
this
my God.
movie was made for a certain group of people. I am not in that group. You know what, those group of people, you have fun.
Listen,
I'm gonna be over here now. Bye.
You need to not confuse sadism with whatever's happening in this movie. It's more sexy than sadist.
It worked for me.
Listen, also like unexpected, the little like I was like, oh shit.
It's
Ben,
not Peter Capaldi.
You don't need to be into the kinks of this to want to watch the movie.
I don't.
It's
That's
just
the thing. I don't want.
It's
to
okay
watch
that
the
you're
movie.
put off by it.
It's the type of thing where like, we just watched a brand new like Sam Raimi for most cases like a Sam Raimi horror movie, which we haven't seen in a while. So like this is David Cronenberg coming back to him doing insanely gross body horror. Like he's the master of it. And like most of it looks to be practical, which I'm appreciative of.
I do
and,
appreciate that. Yeah.
So many great actors in this movie. Like, holy shit. Like, I'm so excited. Viggo Mortensen specifically, like he loves working with Cronenberg and he gets down and dirty. He is like brutal in all of these movies that Cronenberg makes. So like, I'm excited to see him.
I can't wait to make Ben watch this for Halloween.
I don't want to watch this. I really don't.
No,
I'm
absolutely.
No,
Ben,
you guys have fun. I don't wanna watch this.
Ben, halfway through the movie, I have the weirdest boner right now.
You look down, you're like, oh.
I hope this doesn't awaken anything in me.
2 quotes from Community in this episode, bitch.
Very like, will it end up being good? I'm not sure, but like, looks interesting as hell. Can't wait.
Sure, yeah, I agree. Sometimes you gotta challenge yourself with film, Ben.
Looks freaking scary. I don't want to.
That's how you grow.
Otherwise, you get Variety writing articles about.
We promise if we're gonna
Doctor Strange
do that
rated
for
R.
Halloween. We promise if we're gonna make Ben do that for Halloween, you're gonna hear every moment of it live as we are making him watch it. We'll record a commentary of it.
You have to do freaking Clockwork Orange style to make.
Did you watch Gremlins as a kid?
I did not.
Oh,
this explains a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
I love
Don't-
You should have known that, but okay.
You should have watched Gremlins as a kid.
Ben's blank spots for 80s to 90s film culture are so fascinating.
But he's got video games on lock, so it's cool.
Did you watch The Goonies?
No.
Oh man. That
all
one.
all three of you knew this.
No, I know.
beforehand.
No, but every time it hurts me.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, that variety. Like, I didn't want to get into the discourse of like, should Doctor Strange be rated R? No. But like, I didn't want to get into it. But like, Variety wrote an article about that's like, this is not. No. Stop.
Guys, we've seen other MCU movies with like brutality. It's like every time this like it's. We are all babies. This country is full of babies.
It is important to remember that Twitter is a small percentage of the population, but still stop.
It's true.
Yeah.
All of it.
Very stupid overreaction.
I agree. Again, Gremlins. Grayson's comment, Ben.
No,
Please put it up.
We're gonna hear Ben go,
Wonderful.
Am I gonna be that new TikTok girl when she gets hurt by the bedpost?
Boy, if I could figure out TikTok, you would be. I would replace you with her. All right.
gosh.
Don't worry, darling.
Okay.
Florence Pugh.
Olivia Wilde, Harry Styles. Ooh, listen, y'all.
Chris Pine.
Chris Pine. This has the chance to be like absolutely horrible. Like absolutely, like it looks like one of those movies that's trying to do a lot and be like really heady, and it has the chance to be horrible. This is my favorite trailer of the year. I love this trailer so much. This looks like a cool sci-fi movie. It looks like a modern version of the Stepford Wives. Olivia Wilde is directing for the first time. I think the first time or second time. Anyway, new to directing. I think this looks wild. I love every actor in it. It looks really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
This one looks like an interesting thriller because I want to say it's a period piece, but I mean, you get a bunch of the 50s aesthetic, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it is set in the 1950s. It looks like a really cool thriller. You got this creepy cult leader dude in Chris Pine, who is like slimy, but he's super suave at the same time. It's like this. I'm interested in seeing this movie. I want to see this movie.
Tell me, what do you know about the thing? That's the quote.
I like the premise a lot. I think that this Ryan said it perfectly, that this has the potential to be pretty good, pretty great, or maybe just fall flat.
Mm-hmm.
Like stylistically, like I love everything about it. Like it's not as hardcore, but it's
ambitious.
It's ambitious. It reminds me, not just because it's weird, but certain things really remind me of David Lynch, and it's just types of filming that you don't really see in like mainstream movies. And it looks like Olivia Wilde's trying to like really do something here, and I really hope it's good because like this trailer really struck me. And I'm gonna be bummed if it's bad.
I really liked Olivia Wilde's last movie, Booksmart. This is a completely different film than that, but like still.
Yes. Okay. Then yeah. Awesome. Then that movie's great. Oh
yeah.
Not even a word anymore. Love it.
I'm really hoping that like she really knocks this one out of the park. Ben.
Real quick, let's talk Marty's comment.
What's up, Marty?
Marty asked what's wrong if they made it R without adding more gore content sales.
Yep.
The whole discourse, Marty, real quick, is just that like some people felt like already as the film is that it should have been R, and that most people would vehemently agree that that's not the case. This is no nastier than plenty of other PG-13 films that have been out there for decades.
Yeah. They're no worse than any PG films that I watched as a kid.
Right.
I would argue both The Dark Knight and maybe even the newest The Batman has more intense stuff than Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is just weird and gross. I wouldn't say it's like it's rated R.
I would say if there's any, I would say the Batman has the best case of becoming a rated R film as to what it dealt with. I mean, you've seen people get murdered right in front of you.
Even so, like I appreciate that for Matt Reeves that like he did really push kind of what the PG-13 rating could do, but like again, I saw worse stuff in both the Batman and Doctor Strange in Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is PG.
Yeah.
Right.
You see a dude get melted in that one.
Well, to be fair, that helped create the new system.
The Temple of Doom did, because Temple of Doom was too dark to be PG.
Yes, the systems were bad back then. Yeah.
I mean, Ghostbusters got away with some hardcore sexual stuff in that movie.
Yo, there's a ghost blowjob. That's not. There's no innuendo.
That movie is PG also.
Hell yeah. It was better back then.
RoboCop is PG. It's not. I'm kidding.
But the cartoon is, though. The
cartoon, unfortunately, is. Okay. Anyway. Weird. the Al Yankovic story.
Roku?
Yeah, Roku.
Yeah. Roku.
I'm not gonna see it then.
It looks good though.
It does. I love how Daniel Radcliffe looks. He looks a lot like Weird Al. It's pretty scary.
Yeah, I can't say it looks good yet because it was more just like showing you a bunch of stuff.
Right.
I love the look for him. I'm so glad for Daniel Radcliffe getting like a big role like this. I wish it was a little more high profile than it seems to be. It definitely seems to be like a low budget like Roku thing, which is fine. I just hope it is better than the Roku channel. Do you know what I mean? Not to be mean, it's like being just like on Crackle or something. Like that's what I worry about.
That's a good point. I do really appreciate how like it's not a true story. Like it's a very comedic stylized look at his life.
It's like fantastical, like music things are like coming at him when he asks for them.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have it any other way. That's exactly what a Weird Al biopic should be.
Oh yeah, it should never be like straightforward and like boring. Absolutely. Yeah.
No.
I hope it's good. I just like I don't see myself downloading the Roku channel or something. You know, I don't.
For sure.
Maybe I'll watch it if it's available on like VOD or something.
Yeah, like. Yeah.
All right. House of the Dragon.
Ben, how do you feel about this one?
I'm actually really excited for this one.
Did you see that big smile on his face when I said that?
Yeah. Look, okay, I know we've been, no pun intended, we've been burned by Game of Thrones ever since season 8, but just I want to feel there's also some recency bias because of Elden Ring, and even though he didn't do a whole lot of story stuff, it is George R.R. Martin's name, and he did help with some of the things in Elden Ring. And going back to the world of Westeros before all the shit went down, and just seeing other characters, seeing the Starks and the Targaryens in the height of their power, and a lot of dragons, and also the Iron Throne looking more menacing than ever. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I'll try to tone down a little my expectations for it, but at the same time, it's like I'm going back to this world that I fell head over heels in love with years ago. And this was all I could think about for the longest time. I'm getting a sliver of that with Elden Ring, but seeing those dragons, seeing the brutality hopefully still being there, and like this is Game of Thrones world. What you think is going to happen is not going to happen. I want to get on this
unless you've read the book.
Unless you read the book. I'm looking forward to it. It looks exactly like it does, or exactly like it does in the previous show. I'm excited. I am.
Sparks, did this trailer do anything for you?
I mean, I want to watch it, but I'm not excited.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think we all didn't really like that first trailer. I definitely liked this trailer a lot more.
I definitely like this trailer more than the first one.
Okay, cool. Seeing all the players, seeing all the different houses, who the actors are, seeing like Reese Ifans in there. Like I didn't know he was in this. I like him a lot. Since this is based on material that is out and it's done, I'm not worried about the story being not finished or bad. Like they have a good story to tell from. This is the same director as some of the best episodes of some of the last seasons. Even the bad episodes, like the directing is great. So that guy is like helping make the entire show. So I know visually it's going to look incredible. Love Matt Smith. He's been making nothing but bad things apparently recently. So like, can we just like, I want to see him in something good.
I agree with that.
I think this trailer was really great. And it's like, it made me realize like, it's been long enough. It's been enough years. Like that was the first fake nerds watch we did was Game of Thrones. And that was what, 3-4 years ago at this point? That was so long ago. Like the dragon burns are starting to heal. And this trailer was enough like, yeah, Game of Thrones, right guys? Because like Game of Thrones is awesome. Like people forget, like when that show was like season 3, that's like the greatest, one of the greatest shows of all time. Like the cultural zeitgeist around that show is insane, and like it will never get back to there again. But like I want to taste it again. Like I honestly do. Like I love that world.
Do you really want to taste it?
I really, really want to taste it. HBO.
Even though I went to Game of Thrones late, just getting to the part of the Red Wedding, I was still in shock. I was like, holy shit, they just killed him off unceremoniously. Like, surprise, here you go.
But it's not just like that they killed a bunch of people. It's that we spent 3 seasons getting to know all of these people, and then they kill the people you least expect, and a lot of them. And it's like, it's not a lot of stories take risks like that, and it's just like when you do it so well, there's truly nothing like it. So like coming back to the same world, where like I know some of the backstory, but I don't know like 200 years ago. I don't know any of that shit. I don't know about like Viserys and all that and all those people. I'm excited to be back in the world. If that first episode's bad, I'll probably stop though.
Yeah. I'll probably give it like maybe an episode or two, but if the first episode's bad,
I'm good.
I will say the thing that I'm concerned about is embellishment.
Oh, sure.
Because it is a single book that is being looked at.
Yes.
That leaves me with like, I'm concerned that they're going to want to make this as long as they can.
Like The Hobbit.
I'm concerned about like filling out embellishment because this is not a limited series. You know, they're not trying to. Yeah, I'm concerned about them dragging out the length of story and filling it with a whole bunch of stuff that maybe doesn't need to be there.
That's fair, 100%. Then at least we'll have a hot season, and then we'll see from there.
Yeah, so we'll see. But that's definitely my number one. Like, I think that they want this to be as strong and long of a home run for them as they can, and I think that can lead to poor creative choices at times. Yeah. And I hope it doesn't suffer from it, but that's the thing that makes me like not trust it on premise alone.
I guess we'll decide later if we want to do a fake news watch for it. But when that first episode comes out, people who have read the book will immediately tell you how far they've gone in the first episode. Be like, okay, they're going really fast or really slow, so like it's too hard to tell with I think this trailer.
For sure. Yeah, it's not something you can think of. This is a you've lost my trust kind of situation. Yeah. And it will have to be earned back. A good trailer is not going to convince me.
True. Yeah. Very, very, very true.
All right. Green Lantern, Beware My Power. This is the next film in the current DC movie animated franchise, the fifth, I believe. If you count Long Halloween as 2 movies.
I'm really happy Jon Stewart is getting a story.
Hell yes.
Me too. This is Jon Stewart doing Kyle Rayner's origin.
I'm surprised we don't do more Jon Stewart stuff. So I'm glad that somebody is somewhere.
Yeah. This is, I know this is like the same animation style as the other ones, but there's something about this one that just like it looks really good. I don't know what it is about this one. Maybe it's because it's like
you said the same thing about Long Halloween too.
It's
did I? Okay, good. Then I really like the style.
I think it's shading and lighting.
I really like the
getting
shading.
better. I think the shading and the lighting is getting better.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I love Green Arrow being like, you know, having that Green Lantern, Green Arrow team up, but with a different Green Lantern. Him being in space, like, why is he in space? I don't care. I like Green Arrow. Let him be in space. It's fun. Weird choice of characters, but I like it. There's
a lot of cool characters in this on the Sinestro Corps side, which I thought was really cool. We are definitely taking a lot of inspiration from a lot of different Green Lantern stuff. This is Jon Stewart like military origin with Kyle Rayner's becoming the Green Lantern origin, which he's the last of the lanterns given by his ring was given to him by Ganthet personally, and then like you got the Sinestro Corps War as well.
But it's like kind of like not post, but like way after it started because like so much shit already happened. It's like a last resort thing.
I really like how they've incorporated all that Green Lantern mythology. I really like Jon Stewart. It's crazy, like Spark said, that he just hasn't had a movie. Yeah. And he should have. But there's some really interesting new designs. We saw this Green Arrow at the end of Long Halloween. There's a post-credits fitting for Long Halloween. And we see this design for Green Arrow. Still really like it. I think it's a cool design with the hood and the sleeveless hoodie, and the classic goatee.
Yeah.
But I noticed watching this trailer. So we had Superman, Man of Tomorrow, which is the beginning of this universe. Not very far along, not many heroes. Then we have Justice Society, World War II, which introduces the Flash of this universe. He already knows Superman somehow, and then he goes to an alternate universe and then comes back. And they're like, maybe we should form a team. And then Batman: The Long Halloween, and again we're like, we're not that far into this universe, and then we get to this movie, and it's like we have a Watchtower in space, we have a Justice League. I'm like, wow, where did the time go?
Progression is happening very fast.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. I'm really excited. I really like this animation style. I really like this new universe. Yeah, can't wait.
This this will probably make me jumpstart into watching those movies because like
They're good.
Yeah.
I like them a lot.
Hell yeah.
So this trailer was not released online. This is if you went to see Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, you got to see this trailer. Ben unfortunately had to miss this trailer because of his injury.
Or if you know the right people on Twitter.
It is Avatar: The Way of the Water.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think?
James Cameron's back. James Cameron's back.
I appreciate that the first trailer for this was an all vibes trailer.
Me too.
They weren't trying to sell me on anything bombastic. They're just like, hey, man, the best thing about Avatar is the world.
Mm-hmm.
Remember? Do you want to see more of that world? And I'm like, I mean, that is the way to market to me. So good job.
Turns out I do.
I think it's funny that there's a single shot in here where you see like human beings next to the Na'vi and the human beings look fake comparatively. And I think that's hilarious.
Because of how good the CG now looks.
Yeah. So like the CGI on the humans looks worse because it's like a distant shot and some of them are fake. They are CGI'd in and like they look worse than the Na'vi do.
I was watching this trailer and constantly blown away by everything I saw. I do really like Avatar. I think it's a pretty good movie. It's definitely more of a vibes movie that I haven't seen in over 10 years. So I'll watch it again before this movie. But watching this trailer, I was just like, shit, like that looks good. I knew the special effect, the CGI would be good. It's James Cameron. He's been working on this for a long time, but I didn't know that the leap between that movie and current day movies would be so vast.
Yeah, the like the whole thing about like the next set of movies, or specifically this movie, it's like water, and like water is notoriously difficult because there's so much of it and it animates so crazily and like kind of like hair and stuff, and like this man, it looks incredible. Like there's no other words. Like it looks photorealistic. Like those are alien. They look like alien people. Like they looked real 10 years ago. They look even more real now in fake water. All of it's fake, but it looks real. It's incredible. Technology is incredible. When the right people have technology and use it the right ways, like magic can be made.
James Cameron is an innovator. I will go so far as to say he is a genius.
Yeah, I'll agree.
I never had a doubt that this movie would look good, but now I'm kind of like, this movie could be really good.
I'll wait. I'm not gonna say that because I think the story for Avatar is totally fine.
Right, but it's a good base to jump onto something pretty good. That I think could be pretty great.
And I do really like that it's not immediately after the first movie. We're taking a long time where he has raised a family. He's got children. This is like, I think this is like almost longer than like the actual time between movies. Like we're taking like a real ass jump. And that's really exciting because like then we get to see an entire new side to the Na'vi instead of just like, oh, here's 5 minutes after the first movie. Really cool.
I will say it is a shame that James Horner passed away before he could do the score for this movie.
Yeah.
He did the score for the first one, and I think it's great. But his protege is doing the score for this one, so I no doubt it'll be good. So
that's cool.
It's just too bad that James Horner couldn't see this movie made.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's exciting,
and then the three others as well.
Yeah,
it's exciting because I don't know the last time I saw a 3D movie. I really don't know the last movie it was. So this will probably be it. This will be the next one I see in December.
Yeah,
and then we'll get Alice 3.
The trailer did look good in 3D. It really did.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh yeah, you saw Doctor Strange 3D today.
I did, and so I saw this trailer in 3D. I think it's suffering from the same thing I was talking to you a bit about earlier, Ryan. Especially because like the Avatar trailer is very colorful and bright, and the standard 3D glasses that they give you at the theater slightly darkens what you're seeing, and so it's a little bit of a detractor to me. Doctor Strange, it was less of a detractor, but it was noticeable. Which was all the more speaking to like Multiverse of Madness being rather bright and colorful in a lot of places.
It's a lot harsher colors. And
it had been a while since I wore the standard 3D glasses at the movie theater, and I was like, man, this is lesser in the sense of the full color spectrum of the film. Even though the 3D element is cool. So you're kind of like you're getting a trade-off unless the 3D glass stuff changes by then.
The I forget the names of all the stuff because I don't really care, but like the dragons that they ride,
Mhm.
like all the dragon riding stuff of Avatar 1 is the coolest shit. Like all that stuff is exceptional. And like the fact that like the final shot is him underwater on one and then like he rises up with it. And I'm like,
Oof.
man, movies are really cool sometimes. Like I'm excited to see this.
too.
Yeah, and it's a different kind of creature
Yeah,
that he
okay,
rises up out of the
yeah,
water on.
that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
Very
It's like it's a waterborne one.
There's like that whale, kind
Yeah.
of like Pandora
Yes.
whale. Really good stuff.
Some really, really lovely. I'm so excited to explore the ocean. There's some really lovely shots. There's one with I think it's Zoe Saldana's character, but it was hard to tell, where she's like holding the fin of a big whale.
Yeah.
And it's like shot from below, and I'm like, this is just like National Geographic.
Oh, so
stuff.
Obviously this is a vibes trailer, but we do see some of the plot elements. It looks like humans and the Na'vi are like working together, but it also looks like humans are using Na'vi, and there's evil Na'vi in this movie because there's Na'vi shooting people or something. And I think there might be.
Well,
like
we see new Na'vi soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't Sam.
Yes,
because we get the shot that's a couple of them in there with their guns in their commandos. So new Na'vi avatars.
Yeah,
are coming in. But I agree with you. Like what it looks like is the Na'vi and humans that were still there have been getting along, but now we're getting another force of Na'vi avatars coming in.
Yeah.
There's some stuff going on there, and then whatever's going on with Worthington's kid, I don't know.
Man, get ready for the Worthington-assance.
Nah.
Is it? I'm very intrigued about why their
Clash of Titans 3.
Their kid is the way they are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it's like a hybrid or something, right?
It's not clear. They look almost entirely human.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wonder if like they're just a human they adopted.
Potentially.
Because like if the Avatar would have procreated with Zoe Saldana, then you'd just assume it would be a Na'vi.
Unless like it's a weird spiritual thing where spiritually he's born human.
Sure, like I don't know.
You got to connect your ponytails together.
But I am glad that there was like all music, very little dialogue. I think like one sentence, two at most, and just like feel the world of Avatar.
Just remember like family is key or whatever it is. Yeah.
David Attenborough shows up all of a sudden. It's like Avatar,
the Na'vi of Pandora.
Yeah, I'm excited. All right.
Oh yeah. Does that sell you on the trailer of Avatar 2, Ben?
Nope. He's muted.
No,
you're muted, Ben.
No.
I mean, I knew it was going to be pretty. So
all right, go.
Okay, Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, May the 4th released a new trailer.
Do.
I don't have a lot to say about this because I don't think we actually learned much more about the show than we did from the first trailer, which I'm grateful for. I'm glad that I pretty much learned nothing new.
But did you not catch when that we know like the red and green box that glows on Vader, when it goes into Vader, he went, the little Kristen Stewart.
Jesus.
I think this is I agree with Sparks, but I do think this is a really well-made trailer. Definitely.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I really like we get more of like Lars. It's kind of what we knew from the comics that Owen doesn't want Obi-Wan near Luke. And so we kind of get more of that interaction in this trailer. Got a good put down. When the boy is of age, he has to be trained like he trained his father.
Hey, I'm just saying, in 10 years, who's laughing now, Owen?
Who's laughing now, Owen?
Your skeleton! Maybe if the boy got trained, he could have defended against the stormtroopers.
And yeah, I'm really excited for this one. I hope it's really great. I would just love to see Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor go on just like a good note.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah,
I think this is by I'm gonna forget her name. I think it's Deborah Chow who worked on some of Mandalorian and then got an upgrade. first episode, and then got an upgrade. I think this is definitely, even judging by the trailer, the best shot of these Star Wars shows so far. This looks very cinematic. It looks really good. The action so far, it looks really good. Kumail's in it. People suspect that he's a Jedi that they're after. I can't speculate, probably, because that'd be fun to watch. Inquisitor stuff looks so good. I'm so excited. Like, I am getting over the look of the Grand Inquisitor. He still looks goofy to me, but it
looked better in this trailer.
Yeah, the different shots definitely
it looked better because it was further away.
I was gonna say it's a more imposing shot. Yeah, but it didn't bother me as much. I'm getting used to it. And it is exciting seeing like man, Darth Vader's he's gonna show up and be like, "What's up, homie? You thought I was dead?"
Well, it's cool because like I do really hope we get like something where like Obi-Wan thinks that Anakin's dead, because he should know that Anakin's alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there's like you're after Kenobi. He's already dead. Like they think Obi-Wan is dead, and so like it's either an Inquisitor who's like, yeah, we're gonna get him. It's my mission to hunt him down, or it's Anakin being like, hunt this man down. He is still alive.
Because we do see a wanted poster, so like, I don't think they put it out unless they knew he was then alive. Because she says that then, like, he's gonna find you. So I have to imagine the word got out to Vader that Ben's alive, and he's like, no shit. Oh, give me my arm and my oh baby. I got a feeling like I at first was hesitant, but now I'm jonesing for that rematch, that interaction. Because it's not just going to be a lightsaber fight. Because like the emotional stakes there are not about a lightsaber fight. I want them to talk to each other, and that's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah, it's very much like I really want to see the scene where Obi-Wan tries to appeal to Vader, try to bring out Anakin. Because that to me actually adds more to like Luke's role. Like people like in Rebels, how Ahsoka almost she got close to bringing Anakin back out of Vader.
Yeah.
But she couldn't, because it's not her destiny. It's Luke's destiny to bring back Anakin. So I want to see like that another person that Anakin loved try to pull him back out, but have that futility dawn on them.
Absolutely, man. I'm really excited. Very excited.
Yeah, I'm
my last saying, because I don't want to talk about this too much, but like I really hope Hayden Christensen gets to act in this. I know he's not going to just be Darth Vader. I hope it's more than we think. I really hope there's more flashbacks to flesh all that shit out. So when they do meet up again, the impact will feel there. I hope we get that.
I hope so too.
I would swoon if we saw them in their Clone Wars outfits.
Oh, me too, baby.
The white General Kenobi, the greatest outfit in Star Wars, like absolutely.
When he's got the clone trooper armor on the shoulders, and
dude, iconic. I
love that outfit. I was so bummed they took him out of it for Clone Wars season 7, because they had to catch up to Revenge of the Sith.
Episode 3, yeah.
All right, shall we go into our main topic then?
Sounds great.
Full spoilers for Doctor Strange. No, kidding.
Doctor Strange.
Full spoilers for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I lost count MCU film. 28?
I really don't know anymore.
Yeah, maybe. Full spoilers. Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange. It's out. Go see it. Check it out. You've been warned.
This should have been called Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange. Marvel's Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange.
What did we think about this?
Ben, I want to hear what you thought about it.
Oh, I loved it.
Cool.
I had an absolute blast with it. It was great.
Cool.
Ryan, what'd you think of it?
I love it. Let me tell you, there are unfathomable amount of reasons why I love this movie. Not just because it feels like a movie, like I'm watching like a movie directed by someone with a vision. I've been seeing a lot of people online saying like they don't, especially after this movie, they don't see where the direction is for Marvel for the next like decade. I'm like, you guys are crazy. There's so much like teeing up and setting up and like the things that happen in this movie that could be so many things that is so, as a comic fan, so insane. Like Sam Raimi was like, oh, I got to make my own movie. And like, they just asked me to put a couple things in there. The couple things he put in there are huge. And not everyone's talking about him because like not everyone reads as many Marvel comics because I'm a freaking moron. I love this movie. It's so fun. I love Evil Dead more than life itself, and I watched a superhero Evil Dead movie. Like I could not ask for anything more than that.
Sparks?
I really, really enjoyed it, and then I saw it a second time,
I don't care.
and
That's awesome.
I love it. So, yeah, I thought it was really great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I really loved this movie. When I came out of the theater the first time, I was just buzzing. I was just like, God, remember what the thing happened? And the thing that was the coolest thing. Like, and Ryan's right. Like, ever since Phase 1, like Marvel has relied very heavily on pulling people out of the indie scene because they're people that they can just give a second unit directors to do action scenes that kind of move along. This is the first time in a long time that they pick someone from old Hollywood, someone who has a distinct vision, has a distinct voice. And Sam Raimi has directed a movie since Oz the Great and Powerful, I believe, which we don't want to talk about. But
really weird little stain on an almost perfect track record.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really, really like Sam Raimi. I really, really like this movie. It is top 5 MCU films. I don't know exactly where, but it's in the top 5.
Yeah, it's definitely like I immediately knew it's definitely top 10. I want to see it again. And also a discussion for a different time. It's been a long time since we did our MCU list, and so much has come out, and our opinions have changed. We should definitely relook at it one of these days. That'd be fun.
Hey, for Avengers 5.
Come on, before I die, Brandon. Come on.
Do we want to do our bingo cards?
Oh yeah, sure.
Mine's on my phone. Like I got like almost nothing, and I could not be happier. Just like No Way Home, this movie is so much like smaller. It's a big movie, but it's so much smaller than I anticipated.
I gotta go get my bingo card. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I didn't get a bingo whatsoever.
So I'll go. So I got bingo with these ones. Obviously.
So you did do one.
No, I didn't get bingo. Sorry, I misspoke. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So these are the ones I got right. And I kind of want to go, like, I want to start a review with, like, the things that we got right on our cards.
I just want to preface, you said you weren't going to make one, and you did, and I'm happy about it.
Oh, yes. Because I was spoiled by a couple of things.
I bet you weren't fully spoiled, though.
I got spoiled by Captain Carter because of the marketing.
But yeah,
Everybody did.
I don't count that as a spoiler.
It was on a poster. Like
I don't count that as a spoiler.
And then, well, I mean, I do because I wanted to avoid it.
Sure.
And then I got spoiled.
But her shield was on.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Move on. And then I got spoiled by Reed Richards. Like a couple of days before there was the clip was online, but I didn't get Anson Mount spoiled, and I was really hoping that he'd be in it.
That's funny because we talked about all these rumors like a year ago how Anson Mount was cast in I knew everyone was in the movie, but I didn't know they were in the movie. But
when it became clear, like we were talking about like so many different characters being cast in this movie, and when it became clear how much smaller the cameo pool was, I was like, I mean, why would Anson Mount be in this movie? He's in one shitty TV show.
Exactly.
And so I had this moment. I was like, that'd be cool to see him again because I liked his Black Bolt, but I'm not putting my eggs in that basket. But I did end up getting that right.
Hell yeah!
I was really excited to see that.
I'll pull mine up. I literally almost got like none right. And again, I couldn't be happier. I got Clea right because I had a feeling because she gets a big push in the comics right now that only happens when shit happens in the movies. So I put Clea. I got that right. Almost all of my X-Men stuff is wrong. No other X-Men characters. That was right. So I'll allow that one. But all my other ones were like cameos. I thought Caecilius was going to show up. I thought the Watcher was going to show up. I thought Ultron was going to show up. So
I thought for sure the Watcher was going to be in this movie.
Tom Cruise, like all of mine, like bad bingo card. Great movie. Yeah.
I'm happy with all the ones I got wrong. I thought I put Chthon.
Oh yeah.
Because I was like, Chthon's going to be in this, like, or not in it, but like a mention. I just put the Chthon.
They did.
Yeah, I know. I got that one right. Like, I there's a moment where like they're like it's all, the Darkhold's on Mount Wundagore, and I was like, oh shit, I made a screw up. I should have put Wundagore. I was gonna do Wundagore, and then like the list belongs to Chthon. I was like, yes, I did it.
Hell yeah.
I was right.
Tell them about your Captain Marvel fuck up.
Oh no.
Yes.
Well,
Okay,
now
I'll
I
tell
want
you.
to know.
I'll tell you. So Brandon put Maria Rambeau as Captain Marvel and was
did.
really was like, shit, I didn't get that one. I'm like, what do you mean? Maria was Captain Marvel, and he's like, oh, I meant to put Monica. Cool, I got one, and I'm like, no, you meant to say Monica. You don't get it.
No.
I gave it to myself because it didn't get bingo anyway. He didn't say the magic word.
I had the Wanda Kid 616. I had Captain Carter in the 616. Definitely not happening with Captain Carter.
I'm really happy with how this movie. Ben, what did you get right? Because we've been talking about it a little bit.
I got Mortal Lives.
Oh, yeah, same. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got No Way Home Fallout was mentioned. Evil Strange Guys. Let's see. And of course, Reed Richards. I mean, I'll put Reed Richards down because apparently I was spoiled for Reed Richards after I wrote that down. Because me and Fanny were trying to figure out what to put on our bingo cards. Because once we got like 5 or 7 boxes left to fill out, it was getting hard to put in our own original ones before we had to go to steal from the rest of you guys. And sorry, I did steal a few from you guys. Apologies, but
how dare you, sir?
But Fanny was looking through to try and find the trailer, and she got to a thumbnail with John Krasinski as Reed Richards. And we didn't see the suit. It was luckily it was just from here up. But I looked over and I'm like, please be fake. Please be fake. Please be fake. Please be fake. Because Fanny was like, oh shit, that's a spoiler. And then I'm like, I see for a split second, I'm like, I'm gonna pray to God that's fake. But at the same time, I hope it's true.
Yeah.
No, real quick, Marty's comment of anyone put Song Battle. I could not have predicted that, Marty. No one on the planet could have predicted that genius.
So the movie opens. The movie.
I got hey. I got bingo.
You got bingo?
Yes. Jesus.
Sorry.
Blowing me out. All right.
That's not what that means.
A Reed Richards appears. And Xavier knows a Stephen Strange. And America Chavez stays in the MCU. And a Stephen Strange is in the Illuminati. And then I got the free Bruce Campbell space.
Nice.
And that gave me bingo. But like Ryan, there were only a couple of other correct ones, and most of them were wrong, and I'm also happy for it.
Absolutely. Couldn't be happier.
Because I was banking on bullshit I didn't want to see.
Honestly, I had like 2 different post-credits ones. I had an Agatha post-credit scene because of Scarlet Witch. That went out the window the second we realized that Wanda's the villain. And then I had a Fantastic Four post-credits tease. That also went out the window.
I thought for sure a TVA post-credit scene because Michael Waldron.
Yeah.
I
definitely had a thought, and it's gone. I'll catch it to you in a minute.
So let's just let's dive in.
Real quick. This isn't. We'll move into thoughts of the movie. This isn't a negative on the movie, but it's really interesting that there's no Vision in this movie whatsoever. And I thought for the character of Wanda, specifically coming off WandaVision, not having Vision again doesn't detract the movie. Would have been a huge bonus, I think, to have more emotional stuff with Vision. Doesn't ruin the movie, but I was surprised.
Yeah, I was too. This movie moves at a clip. One of the things I really appreciate is how quickly this movie goes. Like we're scene 1, we're running, and we don't stop.
I love in media res. Also, this movie is like over 2 hours long, and it never stops. Like some people like to stop to talk, but like it's a chase movie, pretty much the entire movie, which rules.
Yeah. The simplicity in the script allows everything to be action, reaction. Every scene in this movie plays out as a reaction to something that had happened in the previous scene.
It is the superhero Mad Max that we all deserve.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Big O chase scene.
The Defender Strange, who I thought was going to have a bigger role. I cannot stress how happy I am with how this movie went.
Yeah, the marketing, while it did reveal a lot, the context for everything was not there. So Zombie Strange I thought was going to be evil. I thought this guy was going to be our second protagonist. Like he's dead immediately. Love it.
Yeah, they're being chased by like some demon.
No, they did a great job.
How this movie, I also think because of What If played to this movie's strengths a lot because it threw us all off of what, like the scene where Wanda busts through and she has like the red eyes and she's a little bloody. You think, oh, that's zombie Wanda from What If?
Yeah.
I
See
never
Evil
bought into
Strange.
that theory.
So many things from What If happened. Like, oh, is this so and so from What If? Turns out, no. not
See,
at all.
I never thought that Evil Strange was Supreme Strange from What If.
Mhm.
That never made sense to me.
I never thought that was zombie Wanda, not once.
Well,
but I get
Hey,
how people got there.
sometimes people can just be wrong. It's okay.
Sparks, you've been trying to say something for a bit.
I don't remember now.
Okay.
Sorry.
The scene that I'm trying to like get at.
the marketing did a good job of hiding Wanda as the villain because you were talking about the marketing.
Yeah. Because
Oh,
it kind of makes you, it kind of makes you think that Wanda maybe starts misguided and then turns good.
Or some mix of their.
Yeah.
Nothing made me happier because again, I had a feeling like I knew Mount Wundagore was in the movie from some just like side material stuff that came out. So I assumed Chthon was in the movie. I assumed this movie was going to be third act. Wanda is revealed to have been possessed by Chthon. That's why she's evil. She teams up with Doctor Strange to fight the big bad. Happy ending for everybody. And that would have been shitty and boring. And it happens literally on every TV show of all time.
And somehow America Chavez plays a role.
Yeah, and somehow just like she is the MacGuffin of the movie, but she is a good character as well.
Well, but like that's the film that you described as the movie that we were kind of pitched by the trailers has America Chavez, but but we don't know what her role is in the film. We don't know that people need to get her, people need to whatever. We don't get that in the trailers. What the movie is America Chavez is the MacGuffin. Wanda is Cold Stone Evil, being like, I need to get America Chavez's powers.
She's MacGuffin 1, and then we have the Book of Ashanti MacGuffin 2.
Yeah, both hero and villain have different MacGuffins.
It's MacGuffin City, but you know what? It's a comic book, baby. I'm not mad about this one.
When Defender Strange is running and they're just like, oh, we got to get to the Book of Ashanti. Okay, let's get to the Book of Ashanti. And like I was like, cool, this looks awesome. It looks bright. It's colorful. Benedict Cumberbatch is clearly having a good time in every scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really.
It's a great start of the movie. Again, one, opening in media res, this opening in action is always fun. But it shows the stakes of the movie, like the plot of the movie, but also like the core plot of Stephen Strange and how he's always the one who has to hold the knife, and he's always the one who has to make the tough decision. And it's always black or white. You have to die. It's unfortunately the way it is. And this whole movie's like, but does it have to be that way?
Yeah.
And that's what's so good.
And then it's introduced and tied into America's perspective of him.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's her like, I've encountered stranges, and that's what they all do. They all default to the logical surgical decision.
Yeah.
And the fact that she has to later on in the film go, this Steven is different.
Yeah.
And then even still, not to like go too spoiler, but like he ends up still having to do the things that the other strangers have done. Like he still has to go into the Darkhold and stuff, but like
that's what, but the difference is like this Steven. See, I think what's interesting is that in a lot of worlds where we see that Steven has become evil, it is because of the Darkhold. If the Darkhold is with Stephen Strange gets corrupted by the Darkhold.
Mm-hmm.
But in this universe, Wanda has the Darkhold. So our Steven ends up on a completely different path than the other Steven's, a path that leads him to a more compassionate place in the end.
Well, but it's more complicated than that, because you get Defender Strange who doesn't have the Darkhold, and he still makes the choice that you as an audience go is morally reprehensible, which is to kill America to save the multiverse.
Yeah.
And our Steven won't make that choice, even when America offers it to him.
Yeah, it's always of like, it has to be this way or the other way. And he's like, well, or we just try to find a better way. It doesn't have to be black or white.
Which has never been the way Steven does it.
Yeah.
This is change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's approached by Dr. West in the beginning about was there another way? No, there wasn't. That kind of black and white binary that we're talking about.
Some great in-game aftermath stuff there.
Yeah.
The weight of that decision just being present on Doctor Strange specifically.
Manages to be funny and sad in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
I think that conversation with Wes is pretty good. I think all the more damning is later when Wanda throws, was that the kind of thinking that made you give Thanos the Time Stone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which the undercurrent of that being which led to the death of my husband.
And she even says like, I blew a hole through my husband's head and it meant nothing.
And he just reversed time. Yeah, so sad.
Yeah. The kind of the greater good binary thing that we're talking, we were at war, as he says.
Yeah. Right. And this is very much like it works very well because this is who Steven is. Steven has always been first and foremost a surgeon.
Yeah.
And then he became this sorcerer, but he was a surgeon first. And so they make the choice. The whole thing is like, for a surgeon, you make the choice that you have to make a choice that you say, this is the best way. And in fact, the only way we could do it, because you have to follow that way all the way through, and win or lose, save a life or don't. You have to say that was the best choice without questioning it. Because if you question it, you're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For yourself, you'll lie awake at night thinking about that.
And in the first film, it's very clear how he's given the pad by Palmer to see, like, what is this? Oh, Wes is about to kill this man. Like that is the truth. That is the fact that I'm going to follow it through because I know I'm right.
Right. So this is a change in the way he thinks, and it's such a simple story, and it's such a subtle presence of a continued growth for Steven, but it is bookending the story. Even if it's introduced as a concept with our Defender variant, not our main Steven, it is the through line that gets us all the way to the end, where Steven has made these changes and he decides to finally fix the watch. Very Iron Man 3. I'm gonna change things.
Yeah.
Moment.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. The Iron Man 3 analogy. Really like Iron Man 3.
A lesser sequel would have just forgotten entirely about maintaining a storyline connected to the watch, connected to Steven's relationship with Christine. But it's a thoughtful enough thing while not being the dominant point of the film.
Yeah.
It's just the undercurrent of Steven's arc while he's doing all this other stuff. And in a similar vein, I do want to just say, like, clearly, even without memory of Peter Parker, some amount of the Spider-Man interaction has changed Strange. Because the kind of openness that he only shows Peter near the end of that film, he's showing to America from the get-go. I kind of screwed up how I handled things with a kid recently. I kind of want to do better.
Does he shoot spiderwebs from his butt? I don't know.
No, I hope
not.
Wong is great in this as well.
MVP.
Always so good.
Talking about the arc that Steven is on, like when Wong and Steven first get together, they always have good chemistry, but like here, a lot of the scenes just kind of like shine. When he's like, it's ancient custom to bow in front of the Sorcerer Supreme. I know the custom.
Wong's action scenes.
Yeah.
When he first comes at Gargantos, so good.
Yeah, man. The Gargantos fight scene is awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I unfortunately saw it like 300 times within trailers and TV spots. It's still really great.
But like it looks good. There's the whole thing. Like I'm talking about, like up until the eyeball comes out. Like there's good magic use. Like the thing is, like, I like the first Doctor Strange movie. It's a pretty good movie, but like a lot of the magic in that is just kind of like sparky whips and shields and things.
It's more about like the crazy visuals as opposed to the spells.
Yeah, and then here we get like spells. He's like, I'm gonna catch this car with a dog's head coming out, giant dog's head coming out of the ground.
So it was kind of a cheat because I knew there would be more magic, but I did write like new spells. But I was gonna give myself I needed like a lot of cool shit to get that one right, and there was. Immediately, like he's throwing heads and he's doing like Hydra stuff and like
he throws his hands.
Yeah. He does like literally. That's a D&D movie.
Yeah, he throws down his monster hands to pick up the lamp. Yeah, it's a lot of really, really, and like very bright, very colorful, very fulfilled with people.
You know what it felt like? Watching Spider-Man.
It felt like watching Spider-Man.
Specifically, that Gargantos scene was like, man, this feels like Raimi, like Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I love it.
Exactly. It felt like him doing a superhero story in New York, which was just really refreshing and nice. There's something really pleasant about watching Strange put the drink down, flip over, pull out the cloak, and go into the city.
Very sick. Very sick.
That dude has to show off.
He does. But like, it's pretty cool though.
He knows he's hot shit.
Yeah.
I love how he keeps the cloak the cloak limitation as like his handkerchief, but like
Yeah.
he just like puts the drink down and like just takes it. I was like, that's so cool.
It
That's
is
really
funny. It is funny that, of course, this has to happen like 10 minutes into his ex-girlfriend's wedding. Of course, it has to happen there. Classic superhero stuff. Although her husband seems to really dig Doctor Strange, so I'm sure he's not mad about it.
I really
He's watching the fight. He's like, oh, this is so cool.
I really, because I thought I just want to get this out of the way. Like, I'm really happy that Sam Raimi got to direct a good movie about his favorite superhero.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Because his favorite is Doctor Strange. And like, if this movie was bad, it would have felt so bad, but it's not. It's great. It is a Sam Raimi Doctor Strange movie that I wanted.
Yeah, and like, it's not like 25% a Sam Raimi movie. It's
Not
like,
100.
like I would say the only time that I feel, and even still, his direction is fully there, is the big cameo part of the movie. Even still, his direction is there, and even like it gets even better with all the brutality that he does.
Right.
I think this is the most stylish movie the MCU's ever made, hands down. Like it's so. Sam Raimi is such a unique filmmaker, and I get people who don't like his style. Like I get it. Like it's not for everyone.
Sam Raimi has been
y'all.
He's been a split figure forever. I always loved him. Like,
Yeah, he's
your new roommate, Jeremy, and Sparks was there. Like, we would always watch Sam Raimi movies. We'd always watch That's not what I meant. That's not how I meant to say it. But like, we would watch all these Bruce Campbell movies, all these Sam Raimi movies together. It was a lot. It was a lot of fun.
It was really fun. I sat next to Jeremy during this movie, and I knew he was a fan. But like watching the movie, I realized like, oh, this guy's into Raimi. And there's a specific part. This is probably my favorite third act of any Marvel movie too. By the way, there's a specific moment where zombie Doctor Strange is coming to life and guitar licks start playing, and it's the beginning. It's the beginning of the third act, and I see Jeremy perk up, and I perk up, and I'm like, Sam Raimi, my God, he's so good. And I'm like, oh, I was so ready for it.
The smooth jazz when Wanda is about to dreamwalk. The
early thousands gothic guitar, yeah.
Oh my God, I saw people like complaining that this was awful, but like the fading in shots of like the editing and like Wong coming.
Oh,
like, this is filmmaking. This is
Davey.
You guys are just so used to like bad and boring editing, y'all. This is like what movies are about.
The thing that like I really appreciate is, so I've been talking about like, I don't think this is a problem within the MCU. I think this is a blockbuster problem. Like, currently, blockbusters are sanitized. You know, there's no sex, and all the violence is like there's no real weight to the violence. We talked about with the Matrix how the Matrix kind of started that, and you see like this is not that at all. Like, I would believe that there would be a implied sex scene, a tasteful sex scene in this movie, but there's no romance in this movie. There is.
Christine says it would be a hell of an incursion.
Right.
And then in the post-credits, Clea shows up and says, Doctor Strange, you incited an incursion.
Bro.
Oh!
They banged before she went back.
He's got a baby in 838.
Oh my God. It's incursion. It's going to be an incursion, baby.
Secret Wars is coming, right?
Oh God. We'll talk about it. We'll get there.
Anyway, I'm just saying. It's there.
Oh, so let's talk about Christine. In the first movie, she's fine. Like, Rachel McAdams is definitely, unfortunately, just like the girlfriend role in that movie. Right. Significantly upgraded in this movie. She not only gets to play multiple characters, she actually gets to like act and have fun and actually get to do action.
Really, her primary role, because our main MCU Christine is just at her wedding, and then we're with the 838 one for the rest of the time. But that allows her to actually take part and do something, which I thought was wonderful.
Yeah, and something I love in multiverse stories is like constants and like their love being broken, like them not working out, being a constant everywhere, no matter what, and them being like, I know you're not my Strange, but like you are a Strange, so like the connection's there. I eat that shit up. I love that when it's done well. And like she starts to like tear up and stuff. Like, man, it's really fun. And like then we can have this kind of moment, and then we're about to get a giant like superhero murder massacre. Like it's got multitudes.
Yeah, I also really, really like there are things that are destined to always happen in every universe, and one of them being that Doctor Strange can never get with Christine. He always screws it up.
Happen.
Or it's taken away from him, to be fair, like the What If episode.
The What If episode. Yeah, I really like that sort of thing. And the film was allowed to do stuff like that. The film was allowed to be weird and visually stylistic because, again, the script is purposefully simple.
Yeah.
You know, it gives the filmmaker room to play with this movie, and that's what Sam Raimi gets to do. He gets to play with this movie, and
I agree.
It's got such an energy to it.
And again, like it being a chase movie, like we are constantly going to new places and just having Wanda destroy the place, and that's just really fun. And we'll get to Wanda, but like yeah, the sets in this movie are really fun. Like I love going to the Camertage, seeing like all the different multiverses, like the same location but in different realities. Like seeing the Sanctum Sanctorum like 4 different times, really fun, really cool.
Right.
Mark?
Yeah, I think that give me a moment to collect my thought again. I think that the script is serviced very well by having the primary, like we do have the arc about Stephen, we have the arc of the Christine analyzing Stephen and that causing Stephen to do self-reflection, which ultimately is furthering his growth of like, why am I not happy? What do I need to do different? How can I be different, but also accept that I'm not going to be with Christine?
Yeah.
And that's secondary. Even though he's our main character, that is the secondary story, because the primary story is what's happening to Wanda.
Yeah,
that is the primary story, and the driving force of the narrative, and that has good things and bad things to it for sure.
Yeah,
the scene where Strange, where they bury Defender Strange, and he's just like, I buried worse. What's the worse?
He's done some shady shit, Mr. Strange.
So that's gonna violate an ordinance. It's like, what do you
great
mean?
Great setup, by the way. I did not think that was where that was going to happen when that happens. But as soon as he's like getting ready to dreamwalk, I was like, Zombie Strange.
Yeah, I people clocked it. People clocked it in trailers saying that they were the same people, but I didn't buy it. Just for whatever reason. But they are wearing the same clothes. Just one's really gross and tattered. But yeah, what a third act, man! Like for real. Do we want to talk about Wanda? Do you want to talk about Wanda?
I do, and I kind of want to get to some of the negatives before, because there's a lot to gush about in this movie, and I do kind of want to tackle. And I think Wanda, as wonderful as there are things to talk about Wanda, the biggest negative comes with Wanda, which is that it is a bummer to watch them take the most developed of the female superheroes and the one with mental issues get tossed into the villain category and kind of thrown under the bus. That is unfortunately also what happens in comics with Wanda, and this is coming from the source material, and this is a story that a lot of people have also wanted to be done, as much as other people have not.
Elizabeth Olsen wanted to do this for a long time,
right? That people have wanted to do with the Scarlet Witch and everything, and I don't think that necessarily the problem is with this movie. I think the problem is that WandaVision improperly prepared for this story.
I will agree with that. Yeah.
I think that WandaVision leaves you in a space, regardless of the post-credit scene that shows that she's messing with the Darkhold and hears her son's voices, and that kind of implies like, ooh, sinister things could happen because of that. All of us still walked away from WandaVision thinking what that meant is that she was going to be tempted to want to go into the multiverse, not murder many people. Because part of WandaVision's beautiful conclusion, and it was her acceptance of loss and letting them go. And this is very much not that piece. And I don't think people are wrong to feel gross out or betrayed, especially if this is a character who they relate to for their mental issues. I know this is something I'm sure, Ryan, you've talked with Pepper about, because I have, where like it honestly triggered Pepper to watch Wanda's PTSD be manipulated this way. And I think that's valid.
Absolutely.
I think that a better pretense to this film would have fared this film better. And it can be a little too simple to go, well, Wanda's also corrupted by the Darkhold. That's why this is happening. You know, it's Wanda spent too much time with the Darkhold, and that's why this has gone to full blown, I'm willing to murder many, many people. On a second watch, even thinking about that, part of where I think that doesn't hold as solid a water is that the Darkhold gets destroyed partway into this movie. Wanda's still on her path. Wanda's not free of that Darkhold, if that's going to be our thinly veiled excuse for Wanda's actions.
Just rebuttal, I don't think it's a thinly veiled excuse personally. The way I took that is like the Darkhold wouldn't, like, you wouldn't snap out of it immediately. Like the Darkhold's an infection that it would wear off as as you get further away from the book.
Sure, I can agree with that. My point being that, like, for people who are not wanting to see them do this to Wanda, yes, it is a thinly veiled excuse in a writing standpoint. The Darkhold is a get out of jail free card on Wanda as a character who wouldn't normally do this. The reason is the Darkhold. And that is being a plot device to allow them to do these things to the character. Again, I think in a world where the lead up to this was maybe a little more cohesive and functioned properly as a base for this story with Wanda, or where she wasn't your only big prominent female superhero right now, I think it would land differently. But those are the circumstances, and I feel like people who feel jilted by the way that Wanda's treated is fair.
Yeah, this is
it was the hardest thing. It was the thing I was rubbing up against the most while I was watching it, in both good ways and being like, I can see where this is not favorable for just the treatment of women with mental health problems and PTSD on screen.
That is 100% valid, and that is of all the talk I've seen about this movie, that is the biggest thing. I agree with all that. It truly comes down to the fact for me, we are really ingrained in the MCU. If you're someone who doesn't know anything about the MCU and you come to just watch the Sam Raimi movie, it's really fun. Yeah. This is absolutely MCU fans. And they're right. Like, they're 100% right. Like, this is not the direction I personally would have took Wanda after WandaVision. Because I thought that was done. I thought that's the point of WandaVision, right? That being said, like, she does become a villain in the comics for a little bit, right? And like, the thing I was talking about, setting up stuff for the future. The thing that I think they're setting up for the future with this is Children's Crusade, because she dies and she's missing for years and she has amnesia, and then she shows up and she's Dr. Doom's like mistress or whatever, right? This is not the full arc for Wanda. People think that WandaVision was just the arc. That is not. This is a character who's going to be evolving for a long time, and it's unfortunate. This is the biggest comparison I can do, unfortunately, make is this is Zack Snyder's Superman comparison. We are not where the character is in the comics, and like, this is not where, like, people don't want Wanda to be this character. It's going to take a while to get to the character that like you want her to be, because Marvel doesn't want that. Also, the actor doesn't want that. This is what the actor wants for the character, and that's unfortunate for the fans. That being said, like, at the end of the day, I look at this as just, again, a movie, and I had a really good time with the movie. If I like showed this to my mom, she wouldn't know any of that stuff about Wanda, and we are a nerd podcast, so like, we have to talk about like that stuff. Right. The movie is so good. I am able to divide my MCU-ness and just watch it as a movie. I know that's the opposite of what the podcast is about. I know it is, but like, I didn't think about it as like, oh, they're disrespecting Wanda. I'm like, I'm watching a kick-ass movie right now. And that's me not thinking about representation and stuff, like wanting to watch a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, like, that's a lot of how I was viewing it the first time, with like a minor amount of like thinking about like where WandaVision left us leading into this. And I do think that that's where a lot of the onus lies, is that WandaVision treats it not only as like Wanda's acceptance of loss, but like she's kind of, I know you saw this too, like people talking about like she kind of gets a pass narratively from the third person objective of the audience. Like, yes, Wanda gets a pass on the things she did in Westview, and like that wasn't the way to handle that. That was meant to be like, this is a weight that's going to carry on.
Yes, and the thing about like, this isn't the last we're gonna see of the Scarlet Witch. There's no way that she's dead. Obviously, this is such a comic book character thing to do. It's unfortunate that like the villain, the comic character has villainous ties. She took away the powers of 16 million people, and a lot of them died. Like, she has a history of trauma, and that's unfortunate that Marvel wants to lean into that. That being said, I think the execution of it is really fun. The only thing that I would have needed to make this seem better is, yes, the Darkhold is corrupting her. That is the main reason she is this evil. They needed to explore more of that. They simply needed to show how bad, maybe more Chthon corruption. But like, I wouldn't want them to remove Wanda from this movie as a villain. I also wouldn't want them to scapegoat it as Chthon being the bad guy, taking away everything she's done. I think her being a bad person is a good character choice. Wanda fans will not agree.
I think this is like, and a lot of this is stemming from not necessarily all my read. This is me having conversations with others, specifically, as I mentioned, Pepper, about what they felt, because they were very, very unhappy with what was done with Wanda in this series. And I see where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And I think that it's fair. Some of the things that some of these people, not specifically Pepper, are asking for is like, why couldn't it have been a different universe Wanda? Why couldn't it have been something like what you're saying with Chthon having been controlling Wanda? And I'm like, that wouldn't have felt right either, because part of why I like watching it so much is because every time Wanda's doing something bad, I'm going, oh no, Wanda, no, I'm invested in her. Therefore, she's a great villain, because I don't want her. It's like watching Anakin kill the younglings and kill the Jedi.
Yes.
It's that turn. And so it's a powerful villain because of that. So I don't necessarily think that's the solution. What I do grant is I think maybe something visually should have been done a little more clearly. I think it's there, but like maybe just for like really blatant put it out there about how much the Darkhold has Wanda.
Yeah.
From the jump.
Yeah.
There's a great reveal in this where Strange goes to Wanda and he says, it smells real, like the apple farm. It's like, oh, I put the magic all behind me and blah, blah, blah. And she's spinning this yarn, and then she says, why don't you bring America here? You didn't tell me her name, did you? And then there's the destroyed world that she has created here. Great reveal. I think Elizabeth Olsen is stupendous in this movie.
She is really, really good in this movie. It's probably my favorite performance of her in any of these movies. Of her.
Ryan, in that orchard scene, how'd you feel about seeing Kaled on the big screen?
I swear to God, but I'm not joking. I really did think of that. It looked disgusting. It looked horrible and gross, full of dead monsters, the dead trees or whatever. That I always forget that her powers are tied to one of the Infinity Stones. So her doing like the reality change like Thanos did in Infinity War or in Endgame or whatever, like, man, that's so cool. Like, I forgot, like, oh man, she really is powerful. And the thing that I love about this movie is like, she is so strong in this movie, dude. She could take on every magician in Camartage, every sorcerer, whatever you want to call him, every Harry Potter boy. I love that they really get to see like, this is what the Scarlet Witch is capable of. She can summon monsters. She can warp reality. I love it.
Yeah, there's a bit where Wong is preparing everyone. Is like, the Scarlet Witch is a being of immense power, because like we learned
fortify your minds.
Fortify your minds.
It's so funny because he's first fortify your shields, and then it's like, now it's your minds. And it's like, people laughed in the audience, and I'm like, you guys are laughing for the right reasons.
Because it's kind of silly, because he's like, fortify, he's like really into it.
Such a great shot when she swoops around that guy.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of nope.
Oh no, we're talking about Wong.
When Wong is talking about like getting ready for like getting people ready for Wanda, he's like talking about like she can warp reality. She has the ability to conjure anything she wants. Because we learned in WandaVision how the Scarlet Witch is a mythical figure that is this destined witch to show up. I also really like the visual design of like keeping the visual continuity of both Strange and Wanda. So they have so seeing them like connect together with the different styles of witchcraft and sorcery created a really interesting contrast visually.
I also forget like because they reminded me like, sorcery and witchcraft are different things. Like they're doing different things. You just lump it in with magic.
I do want to highlight Marty and Sam are bringing up some really interesting and nice things over in the comments. We're not going too high on them or anything.
You could these two are going at it, so I'm
no. We were deep in what we were doing, but like Sam's talking about it being a good parallel for American view of mental health. I think that there's an amount of that. I think it's also this gets dicey and like having Moon Knight out at the exact same time where it's doing like pretty good mental health representation, but it's for a male, and now we've got our female kind of mental health, our main one for the MCU, and what's going on here is like a little questionable. I think that this is the last thing I really want to say in the negative on this, because I'm more positive by far even about Wanda than anything else. I do think that the line "I'm not a monster, I'm a mother"
is really
puts a little too much onus on in the direction of the thing that everyone is bothered by, which is a woman out of control of her emotions trope. And I do think that specific line, why that's rubbed up against so many people, I think is totally fair. That it treats it as like any mom can go crazy like this is
I do think the line about your kids are made of magic. Well, all mothers use magic to make their
I think
children.
that's a good one.
That's
I think that's
one.
I think that's a good one. Marty brought up a point about if Strange had come in to save the day in WandaVision, maybe it would have been a better lead-in because the choice wouldn't have been put on Wanda. Maybe. I just think this is one of those things where, like, certainly the pandemic, right, affected this, because again, this was supposed to be before No Way Home. So all kinds of things about how they thought about what they were doing with this movie changed, but like WandaVision both works as a lead into this movie and also kind of is a detriment to some aspects of it.
It's interesting, yeah, because like if you watch WandaVision, you're kind of getting like, oh, so that show didn't end the way I thought it was. So that doesn't really count, right? She's not better.
But also you absolutely need that background for the relevance and emotional connection of the boys.
That is the one thing I will say. I think you'll be fine. Like if you're a casual person coming to watch this movie, I think you'll be fine. But I do think this is one of the first things where you're really lacking if you don't watch WandaVision. Because like they throw the Darkhold, like, oh, you have the Darkhold. That's it. Like you're just supposed to like kind of know what the Darkhold is.
And she is the Scarlet Witch now, which is a concept that if you are just watching the MCU stuff and you didn't watch WandaVision, that's a concept you know nothing about.
If you go from Endgame to this, yeah, there's a lot that you're missing.
Yeah, which is interesting. Like it's cool to see, like, this is the first MCU film that's really required one of the shows now.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
I really like her costume. She's in a costume the whole movie, and it's a corrupted version of her costume from WandaVision.
Very, very glad that we have the black fingertips.
Oh, it's so
because again, like it's telling you about that Darkhold corruption.
Yeah, doesn't Agatha have the black fingertips?
Yeah.
In WandaVision?
Yes, and I think it's a bummer that the Strange who's fixated on the Darkhold doesn't have them.
Yeah, good point.
I looked for it the second viewing, and I'm like, ugh, he should have them too. It should be a consistent thing. The Steven who's destroyed by Black Bolt,
the 838 one, yeah.
But the one who he fights, who has the third eye, does not.
Okay.
Which I think was unfortunate, because I think it should have stayed a cohesive visual link of the corruption. Again, like agreeing with Pepper that there should have been something a little more pronounced for it.
I remember watching and I see Wanda's crown or her tiara, or whatever the heck you want to call it, and I'm looking at it like that looks more broken than the last time I saw it. It's got like black. It's got like black like sick lines running through it. It's got like black cracks on it. And then you see her costume itself. You see the sick lines and how it's a little darker. And the more I was watching this movie, and also like one of my favorite bits of this movie was when she's in the mirror dimension and she comes out of the mirror dimension.
Jesus!
Oh my god, I love it.
And you see
beautiful.
You see the cuts. You see like the veiny grossness.
When she rings out of the gong.
Let's talk about all of that right now, because like my god, when they trap her in the mirror dimension and she you see like it's attacking her, and then you see her like reach through, and you kind of see her like running through the puddles as they're trying to cover them.
I want to point out, like, with that, I thought it was a very nice touch that Wanda can be very good at magic, but Wanda's very good at her magic. And Wanda's not familiar with everything, so she's never encountered the mirror dimension before, didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah,
because like the reason, so like because she's in it, and then she makes a move, and then the spikes show up, and then she tries to throw a ball, and that doesn't work. Yeah. And when we get to later in the film, when the spirits come at her, this is also something she's never encountered before. It's overwhelming her. It's scary for her.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that she's not just like competent in all ways with magic. Yeah. That we see that she can be put on her back foot.
There's some genuinely, like, honestly, I think this movie does a really good job with its horror beats.
Yeah.
I'll use horror in like quotes, because it's not like, I'm not scared of this movie, but like
the most horror the MCU's ever had.
When she bursts through the gong and she rips through, and you just see her like contorting through and with all the scars, genuinely terrifying.
Great.
This is what I thought Moon Knight was gonna be like, guys. This is what I thought Moon Knight was gonna be.
And Moon Knight, up to the release of this movie, Moon Knight also had the scariest moment in the MCU with that episode 4, The Tomb, which I just rewatched. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty freaky. Got nothing on Multiverse of Madness now, though. The sound design that they do for like when Wanda's approaching and about to do her magic, the whispering, the sounds, all very, very good. Like Elizabeth Olsen's able to play the very tense and scary presence, but also empathetic character because I care about Wanda and I don't want Wanda to do these things.
We're all fans, or most of us are fans of the Evil Dead franchise. And so that scene with the reflections is ripped straight out of Army of Darkness. Evil Ash is trying to come through a mirror, so they're breaking mirrors, throwing stuff over mirrors. There's an eyeball that pops out of the floor. That's just like Ash's eyeball coming out of his shoulder, and I'm like, God, I cannot believe this is a $200 million Evil Dead movie I'm watching.
Right.
Like, it's so. I had such a good time. Like, I cannot wait to see this again.
The sequences when she's first dream walking into the 838 Wanda, and you get the Wanda in the photo frame that like is celebrating, then slowly turns and stares her down.
Got me a little bit.
And then when finally taken over, looks at the camera.
There's so much in that sequence, like just visually her possessing this 838 version of her with the Danny Elfman music, and you see she's not moving, but like the set is moving, like the bulls fly that way, and like she's struggling. There's a bit where she looks up and you see, and like our Wanda looks up with her, like she's the reflection.
Yes.
And it's kind of ghostly. It doesn't look like a natural reflection. It's like a ghostly reflection that's really kind of bright red. Wonderful.
Good time, because you said it. Good time to bring up Danny Elfman's just really on his shit in this one.
Man, yeah. I am seeing people like disrespecting Danny Elfman this week. And I will say, it's not as egregious as other movies. Yes, the main Doctor Strange score is not used 100% through the entire movie. Not every score has to be used the entire time. It is in the movie. It is in it. I heard it.
Importantly, it's in there more than people think it is.
They for real. I've seen people say like they erased his score, and I'm like,
no,
see this
they just changed the instruments it's played with and the tempo it's moving at.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. Plus, like the introduction of Wanda, it's the WandaVision do 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 or whatever.
Not only, he has the WandaVision theme, the Captain America theme, and the X-Men '97 theme all put in here.
I had to change my pants. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Danny Elfman is a big proponent of respecting old themes. That's why when he did the Justice League theatrical cut, you hear Batman and Superman themes.
Yep.
The I was like, oh.
It's so before we get to the cameo scene, I think Wanda's opening again. I think if you didn't see WandaVision, it is a bummer, but like the opening scene with her is really good because you see her with the family, everything's great, and then she wakes up and it feels really sad. It is super sad immediately. You're like, oh, I guess she doesn't have
because when she wakes up, it's very bright, but as the camera's turning with her getting up, it's getting darker and drearier.
It's so sad.
She has a thing where it's like, so why send the demons? Why send the demons up to the little girl? Why don't you go get herself? That was me being merciful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, like I do agree with you, Sparks. Like I think she is way too murdery without giving more of an explanation that like the Darkhold really has a hold on this woman. Like they really needed to cement that in for how many people she murders. Like truly, like she. Like she's a bad person.
She's an Avenger. She's an Avenger who's doing this.
She's
that fight at Carmitage. That bull dude, feel so bad for that bull dude.
Rintesh or whatever.
When she's like, fortify your minds, and she finds one and like does her like Age of Ultron thing where she like possessed the Avengers. Oh, wonderful. Elizabeth Olsen is so great in this movie.
Yeah, very scary.
Love the I think Wakandan sorcerer who destroys the Darkhold.
Yeah.
Best sound Wakandan.
Sure. Yeah.
There's a shout out to Dapper London Sorcerer with the rapier.
Oh yeah, when the other guys come out,
wonderful. Love you. Love your look.
Cool look.
Tell me more.
Yeah.
Going into the chat real quick because Sam has another comment that's been there for a while. She said you could have called this WandaVision season 2.
No, I can't.
Starring Doctor Strange.
No,
I don't think
it'd be very different as a show.
It doesn't carry over the plot threads from WandaVision.
Yeah,
like not really.
Other than the children existing.
About TV stuff. So let's talk about Earth 838.
Real quick, let's talk about America.
Let's talk about America.
America sucks.
I think she's
the country.
I think that she's introduced well. I like the actor. Yeah. I think she unfortunately suffers from like the plot is happening to her. She is not actively taking part in it until pretty much the end. Yeah. But I still like her relationship with Steven, the fact that she's driven by how much can I trust you because there are others who have wronged me before and been standing up for this, Steven.
I think she's got good energy.
I think she has good energy too. I think that like it serves what it's supposed to for this film. I think it's unfortunate, but just like this plot does have to happen to her. She is essentially a MacGuffin.
I do know, kind of like Wanda fans, I do know America fans not happy with this one, and I get it. This is very much Birds of Prey, Cassandra Cain happening, where in the comics America is very, very strong. She knows what she's doing. She doesn't need people's help, which is kind of the fun thing about the comic we read.
Sure.
And this is very much her learning to be who she is, and I have no problem with that. But I'm also not tied to the character as much. So
right.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the key there. Like for Cassandra Cain, like I don't mind her for that movie. I just don't. It's a baffling way to adapt her.
Yeah,
I think we could still see. And I know like the MCU has fallen into this trap a lot lately, but like we could still see America grow into the character she is in the comics. She's only 13 in this movie. She's very young.
She's supposed to be 13.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
I'm sure that she will.
That's interesting because we'll do some Young Avengers talk after this. That's interesting. Yeah. Making her young is actually smart. That's actually smarter than
I will highlight, like, it's not my gripe, but it is out there, and I would be remiss to not mention it considering how hard I came after Spielberg's West Side Story. America is Puerto Rican, and the actor Xochitl Gomez, who I like, is Mexican. Yeah. And there's plenty of people who are upset about that. I think that that there's validity to that. I think there's an amount of this also came up around Spielberg's West Side Story. A lot of Puerto Ricans talking about, like, it's a bummer that 2 of the 3 leads are not Puerto Rican, but a bunch of the extras are. And I think this is also stems from like having to recognize that Puerto Rico is being mistreated by our country, not to like fully tangent us, but like that they're lobbying and have been lobbying for years to actually be ratified as a state, because they are a part of the United States of America, even though we don't acknowledge it that way as a country. We don't treat it that way. They are essentially the 51st state. We just refuse to make them that.
They can't vote.
And I think when that amount of representation in the political body is so absent, having any kind of glimmer of moments, especially to have your hero in the MCU not be played by someone who is Puerto Rican, I understand why that is upsetting people. And I think that's reasonable to put out there, that like being filed under the umbrella of Latin X generality is not good enough. Sometimes we need to recognize that Mexican is not the same thing as Puerto Rican. And I think that's totally valid. And I'm sorry for them that's the way that it's going over.
Yeah.
One of my squares that I got right was we would visit the utopian parallel.
We did for a hot second. Real quick. So actually, I think there's only really one scene that I could think of that I thought was just kind of like, it was kind of shot weirdly. And it's the scene when they're in Earth 838 or whatever, and they're going past the memory lane. And it's just the way it's shot. Like for Stephen Strange, I think it's fine. But like, she steps onto this memory device. We get the most traumatic memory she's ever seen. I think it's shot kind of weirdly. I think like the scene where her parents get sucked up, I think it's just executed poorly. I think it's a poorly shot scene. And then she's just like, oh, let's just not talk about it. And like, that is just to show you what happened to her parents. And I think that could have been done in such a more interesting, fun, clever way than a random like memory machine that she steps on. Like,
which is just a demo that tries to get you to buy the service, but will also show you one of the most haunting memories you have to try and get you to buy it.
They will show you your origin story on the free trial.
Yes.
I just thought that scene was extremely poorly handled, and I'm glad that like the explanations there. We got the 2 moms thing. That's great. Like, I wish it was handled just completely different.
Let's talk about some cameos. How about?
Hell yeah! Let's talk about murder.
So we meet the Illuminati by way of Baron Mordo, who is the Sorcerer Supreme of 838.
Okay, real quick. So I don't think I ever talked to you about this. Like this specific plot point. Like when we saw the trailers for the Illuminati. I was under the assumption, I don't know about you guys, this was the Illuminati for the multiverse.
Me too.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank God. Because the fact that it's just the Illuminati of this Earth specifically makes all of these cameos fine. we'll talk about performances and all this stuff after, but like the fact that it is Reed Richards, it's Captain Marvel, it is Black Bolt, like this is just another world where all this stuff happened. And I think that is so good. I was so worried that it was the multiversal Professor X, and it's not. It's not.
I agree with you, and I'm very happy it is the way it is.
It made that scene for me like infinitely more enjoyable because I was actually kind of dreading the multiverse stuff happening with them.
Not to continue to push off the cameos more, but can we talk about Mordo for a second? Because we all thought Mordo was Mordo from the MCU.
Yeah.
And we were wrong. And I think it's fine. I think it's an enjoyable appearance. I think it's very funny that clearly they have no idea what to do with the storyline they set up for Mordo. Mm-hmm. And so they might just never do it. And I think that's very funny.
It is funny. Here's the thing. Like clearly Mordo didn't really have a role in this movie as Mordo from 616. They probably could have done it in some way where they team up, whatever. Like
I'm very glad they didn't try to force it.
Yes, the fact that he's in the movie still means that like we want Mordo in our movie. It doesn't make sense for his normal character to show up. So he is the Sorcerer Supreme part of the Illuminati. And like I'm so glad that he's here. Like it's awesome.
The implication feels very much like he is the kind of like the Robotnik to Strange's Sonic, where he's like, yeah, he's like one of my greatest enemies right now, and so like they clash, and then Mordo's like, I'll get you next time, Strange, and then disappear. And that's kind of his role in the MCU and has been for the past few years.
Yeah, he snapped and dedicated his whole life to try to kill me.
Yeah,
off screen.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I really like the kind of like everyone in the audience is like tense when Mordo shows up.
Yeah. Which is also, again, an escalation for that 616 character, because that's not how he left Strange and Doctor Strange. He was just trying to take magic back away from sorcerers. It wasn't, I want to murder Stephen Strange. Apparently it's there now.
Yeah, whatever these two had was serious beef. Super beef.
He's the Black Manta for Aquaman. We just got to see Black Manta.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that the moment... I'm so curious to watch the scene without a screaming audience, because like there's a bit where it's like, you know, Christine says I'm like a whatever for the Baxter Foundation. I was like, oh,
I marked immediately. I couldn't help it. The first Fantastic Four thing. I'm such a fan. Like that. For real. Like that was enough for me, and I lost my mind.
Yeah, and so like that was like the thing, and I was like, oh, okay. And then like they go for it. Like we get Captain Carter, we get Captain Marvel, we get John Krasinski as Reed Richards.
Not Blackagar Boltagon, the most important of them. Come on.
Anson Mount coming back to play Black Bolt is so great.
He's good. He wasn't the problem with that show.
No, he really wasn't. He was the best thing of that show. I'm really excited that he's in this.
I saw people online saying, why would any actor want to reprise a role just to get murdered? And I'm like,
why
would anybody ever want to be in an MCU movie?
Not just to be in the MCU movie. Like, have such a fun role as this. Like, oh, you're gonna blow my head up. That sounds so fun. Working with Sam Raimi, like y'all, like some people are crazy.
And they get really interesting things to do. Like we see them kill their Strange. It's through Black Bolt and Black Bolt on Titan. And so, man, that never thought I'd see that Professor Xavier on Titan and that yellow.
I never thought we'd hear Patrick Stewart say Thanos.
Bro, yeah, what a movie!
Like we all knew Patrick Stewart was in there because we hear his voice in the trailer. But when he shows up on the wheelchair and he does the mind thing with like the second waves, just like it used to be in the cartoon shows. Like
that was the moment.
I wish marketing hadn't.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. I wish marketing hadn't given it away.
100%. That would rock my world.
When you even get like a character art for Professor Xavier, because like when he's before Black Bolt kills him, he says, "I'm sorry, old friend." Mm-hmm. So you kind of get this like remorse a little bit, maybe that transfers to their Strange.
Right. He says, "I shall miss you, old friend."
I shall miss you,
and
then
because Black Bolt gets the "I'm sorry."
Yeah, Black Bolt's. Do you remember, Ryan, when he kills his son from the future? By saying, what do you hope to see, my son? Vaporizes him. Big vaporization energy in this.
I didn't watch all of Inhumans. I'm sorry, Marvel. I watched the first half of the first episode, maybe. But I didn't really see how Black Bolt's powers would operate. And like that's the thing is like he can whisper and blow up a mountain, right? So like when it started to happen, I'm like, well, I guess it looks cool, but it's not doing much. Oh, there goes the rest of the stuff on the road. Yeah, there you go.
And it's so cool to see to how they visualize it. I think
amplifies.
I think Sam Raimi did a really interesting job with all their powers, how reimagining these powers for kind of what a Sam Raimi MCU film would look like.
Mm-hmm.
But like you see, like even like the sound design on Black Bolt's scream, how it's the "I'm sorry" starts quiet and it keeps amplifying
and like it screams even though it's
get louder and louder. Yeah, and so like then you get like what we talked about, like Ben talked about, like Xavier does from the 97 cartoon with the waves coming out of his head, and even like points.
So Brandon, hold on. The 92 cartoon. This was but the music was credited from X-Men 97, which isn't out yet.
Oh.
This is the Xavier. This is the world from X-Men 92. So that means Xavier dies in this world 25 years later. Yes,
because we said at the end, it was like, oh, so nothing of What If carried over, and we were just like, well, I guess this could be the Captain Carter universe.
It could be, but I think it's just like, oh, this is the Captain Carter. Like there isn't a Steve Rogers.
There's just more multiverses that have Captain Carters. That's it.
Let me tell you why.
Haley Atwell, my love.
She looks really good.
She got bisected.
Oh God, let me tell you. I'm not gonna lie. There was a tinge of cringe when she was like, I could do this all day, but I immediately loved it because no, you can't. Because second later she's dead, and I'm like, that's actually really funny.
I think all the deaths of the Illuminati are brilliantly brutal. They're suggested brutality, except for like Black Bolt, who you just see his head cave in.
Oh my God.
Which is honestly terrifying when Black Bolt's like, rrr, rrr, and
I cannot believe, like, again, like this isn't rated R, but like for a Marvel movie, I cannot believe we saw that.
Yeah, it's good. This film isn't as sanitized as other Marvel films have been.
Mm-hmm.
I also love how cocky the Illuminati is, especially Maria Lambo, where she's like, "Oh, we can handle a little witch who decides to
Lambo."
Maria Lambo.
Maria Lambo.
No, I love it. No, I'm not. That's
brilliant.
That's a better name.
It's Rambo, Ben. If you didn't know,
that's what I said.
You said Lambo.
You said Lambo.
Lamborghinis are pretty hot.
Anyways, when she's all acting cocky about how it's like, oh, we can handle a little witch, and then they just get murdered left and right.
Well, one of the things that
hold on, and also I just love how Wanda is just supremely evil in this scene, like where she says "what mouth," and then when she's talking to Mr. Fantastic, and she's like, "Your children, do they have money?"
Yeah,
Mom said,
that's what I want to talk about.
Good, and she goes, "Good." Then someone can care for him and kills him by turning him into string cheese. It's like, yikes.
Well, the thing that I really like about that scene is like, yeah, you're talking about Maria and Black Bolt. They're pretty cocky in that moment. They're like, yeah, we're hot shit, because that's who their characters are. But Reed tries to talk her down. You know, I really appreciate that Reed is like, hey, like, by the way, I never thought we'd see Mr. Fantastic Powers this early.
Bro, come on, I can't even with this one.
You possess an innocent woman, tries to reason with her, and even thinks he's got it when he's asked about the children thing, and then he gets unraveled.
So go ahead.
No, I've talked more than you. You go.
So there's something kind of awkward. I think it stood out more on a second viewing about the way that Charles stays behind and tells Strange that he's like, Steven, if you get out of here, get America to the Book of Vashenti and be safe. And I'm like, why don't you just let him go then? There's something confusing about why they decide to just, like, Xavier leaves, they decide to just leave Mordo and Strange in that room, and I'm like, people are dying, and I'm like, I don't know what exactly the goal is here. I get Mordo's, like, stubbornness, but it's confusing. Because it's like Mordo doesn't care about saving his friends.
I will... this isn't even me defending the scene or pushing back. It's just a thought, like, it is so chaotic. Like, they're at the Baxter building. Like, this should never have happened. Like, this is, like... The thing I like about the scene is, like, this is a world where they won. Where, like, they didn't have to have the insane fight with Thanos that our Avengers did. They beat him with the Book of Ashanti easy, right? So, like, they are so cocky. They don't think Wanda's a threat. And then their shit starts getting rocked. So, like, I can understand, like,
because their Wanda's not a threat.
Yeah.
So they're just like, Yeah, this was fine.
There's only one Scarlet Witch, and it's not in this universe. So like, I guess I can give. I've only seen it once, so like I don't remember the order of things, but like things are getting out of hand. Maybe like I can't.
I mean, I definitely think that this group is as a whole is like a little too in their own shit of like, Steven, you're the real problem here. And it's like, I'm telling you, the Scarlet Witch is going to kill you. And they're like, Steven.
Yes. That's why I like it. That's why I love
you're
it.
You're the problem.
I'm
like,
here's the thing.
But the way the scene is written with Charles when he tells him everything is that it's like him saying, we'll see what kind of strange you are. And Steven's like, thank you. And then it cuts away. But then when we cut back to the room, Charles isn't there, but Mordo's there, and they haven't let Steven go. And I'm like, I don't know why we didn't let Steven go at this point.
I do agree with that. I think there's a weird editing thing there that I'm like, what?
But they didn't have the remote.
Sure, but like it's still just like Xavier has given this like kind of I'm giving you my blessing moment, but we're just gonna leave them stuck in this room.
I do agree with that. The thing that like, because I have seen people be like, the Illuminati are like so stupid. Like guys, like in the comics as well, like the Illuminati are so arrogant and like they think they always know what's right. Like they are heroes, but like they're always making the worst decisions. And that's like always Doctor Strange. They've never had to deal with Wanda as powerful as she is here, so they don't think about having to deal with it.
The problem is people who are too married to their ideas of Charles, especially Patrick Stewart's Charles and John Krasinski's Reed Richards. They're like, they wouldn't get taken out by a woman,
bro.
Let alone Wanda.
Yes. One, Scarlet Witch is super strong. Two, Reed is hella arrogant, and I especially think in this universe, like where again all the Thanos stuff happened very differently, and he's like hot shit. He's part of the Illuminati. They're in the Baxter Building. Like he's like King Honcho. He's like I'm nothing can hurt me.
He's living the Tony Stark life.
Absolutely, yeah.
So there's two things I want to bring up that you just reminded me. There are 7 seats. We only see 6 members of the Illuminati.
I assumed one was for Strange. Did that Strange?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I assume that too.
Because like I also saw like people think like, oh, maybe that's the cut Tom Cruise cameo or a different cameo. I'm like, I think it's just the dead guy.
I think it could be there because Iron Man is classically part of the Illuminati. Like I think it could be implied that was for an Iron Man, but maybe not the Tom Cruise one, but just like an Iron Man.
Yeah. I gotta say, real quick, like the fact that we have an Illuminati and 4 of the original members from the comics are there. I like the fact they brought Black Bolt back. If they left Inhumans alone, no one would say a word. But they respect the characters and they respect what the characters are capable of. And Black Bolt is essential to the Illuminati. Even if this is just the only time the Illuminati ever show up, I don't think it is multiverse stuff. It's cool to see him show up on this version of it because like he is a cool character. Like again, every character can be important.
I think speaking on the point that it's not the only time we're going to see, I think our Strange is going to build an Illuminati on the MCU Earth.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I don't know how you guys fall on this, but I think Krasinski looks very good as Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, so I don't want him as Mr. Fantastic. He looks really good. He embodies the look of Mr. Fantastic. I don't think his performance was as arrogant as condescending. It kind of just felt like John Krasinski talking to us a little bit. That's also just like maybe he just filmed the cameo really quickly, right? So
he doesn't really get a lot to do.
He doesn't get a lot to do, right? It's like a very quick cameo thing showing up. So like, he's not my first choice. If he is Mr. Fantastic, like I'm not gonna hate it. I'll absolutely am not gonna hate it.
Sparks and I were talking that, that like I think that like this could be like them being like, okay, we did the John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, it can go either way. Like
we'll do something else now. The other thing is, I also kind of would like this be like, oh, they go to MCU and Mr. Fantastic is there, and he's got Franklin and Valeria, and so like we because I want the whole family unit in the MCU. I don't want them to just do another origin.
So, great line from Doctor Strange. Says, didn't you guys get jettisoned in the 60s?
That's not what he says.
That's not what he says?
No. What he says, so what happens is, because I listened to it too, Brandon, is that he says, Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four, and Strange says, didn't you guys chart in the 60s?
Chart.
So, the thing is, that can be read...
Let him talk.
No, he does say Fantastic Four, though.
I didn't dispute that.
No, because that was one of my things on my bingo card I couldn't hear when I was watching the movie, is that they say the words Fantastic Four.
Yes, they do
you're
say
asking
the
a
word
question.
Fantastic Four.
All right, cool. Sweet. I got another point then.
So he says, didn't you guys chart in the 60s? Here's the thing. That can be a joke, like the Fantastic Four sounds like the Jackson 5.
Sure.
Or
yeah, okay,
did they
okay.
chart space in the 60s? It can go either way.
Okay, yeah.
Because I thought the same thing the first time I heard it, and then I saw how it was played because Reed like gives him a smirk.
Also,
like,
every time a character's introduced, he makes a joke about their names and stuff. So yeah.
Exactly. So I'm like, this could go either way. It could be a reference to them charting space in the 60s, or it could be him making a joke about them being like them sounding like a band.
That's
because
a good point.
Fantastic Four.
Strange is really into music, as
Beyonce
established in the first film, because like he does the thing in the first film when he's operating and they get test on old music and he like knows everything about them. And
good point, Brandon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think they left the room that you could interpret that two ways.
I love it. So yeah, real quick, like Fantastic Four and X-Men. X-Men is number one, but like we've had 10 years. We've had almost 15 years of MCU at this point. And my favorite characters have not shown up, except Iron Man. I got lucky with Iron Man, right? But everyone else is tertiary Marvel. Like the real like X-Men and Fantastic Four are like Marvel's first family and Marvel's most successful IP. We got confirmation. They didn't say the word mutant, but we got confirmation that Charles Xavier is in the MCU. That means X-Men are in the MCU. That's, for me, it's really special. Right. We saw Mr. Fantastic. This is not the guy I want him to play. I think he's great, but like they said Baxter Building, they talked about the kids. Mr. Fantastic is part of the MCU now. My future is so happy. I am so happy, y'all. Like, I can't believe, because like people are like, where are they gonna go next? I'm like, you guys don't read enough comics then. Like we have an infinite amount of stuff to go to. And the thing
is that Fantastic Four movie is on the horizon.
Yeah. It's on the horizon. And the thing that made me pop, guys, more than anything else in this entire movie, is they said the word incursions.
Right.
Secret Wars.
They trademarked Secret Wars last year. Jim Shooter said they came to me trying to buy Secret Wars license from me. Incursions is the thing from Jonathan Hickman's Avengers run. It's from Secret Wars, his 5-year Avengers run buildup. That's what we're leading to. The stuff with Loki, the stuff with Kang. That's all fine and dandy. He's going to be our big bad for now, but Secret Wars is the thing we are slowly building to. That is our end goal. And like the fact that like, oh, guys, I love that. I love Secret Wars so much. And like even the thought of them of like doing that, something like that in the next 10 years, I can't believe it. That's the thing.
Kang could incite this version of Secret Wars like he did in Lego Marvel Superheroes.
Kang has opened the path because Kang is the one who set the MCU free into the multiverse.
Yes. So like, I've been thinking about this literally nonstop. Not even so much Doctor Strange, just the future. Because so many people are like, I don't know what they're going to do next. And I'm like, this movie has opened the doors for literally so much stuff. They've opened the doors for Young Avengers. They opened the doors for the Secret War stuff. They opened the doors for so much more magic stuff. The Clea stuff. The Dark Dimension stuff. The possibilities are endless. And I'm just so excited. This movie did so much more than I think people really realize for the future. And for good or bad, but like, they said the word incursions, and you don't throw that. That's not a word you normally use in just random. Like that is they talked about Secret Wars, and that is so exciting. I can't fathom the future. I'm so happy.
Yeah,
I think on the surface, it is definitely like, because incursions is the term for when universes crash together. Yeah, like, and that's what happened. So I think on the surface, you can definitely be like, yeah, that's what. But on like the macro level, it is one of those things where I'm like, oh, that's the next event movie, the next Avengers movie is Secret Wars.
Honestly, the way I see it is it's Secret Wars is bigger than that. I think the next Avengers movie is Kang. All the stuff with Kang, Kang is gonna be like basically Avengers Forever, where it's a big multiversal thing. But then after that is when the collisions start happening, when the multiverse starts just getting destroyed and they start getting smaller and building that Secret Wars. I think Kang and Secret Wars are separate, but I think Kang is on the road to Secret Wars.
Still can't believe I got to see Charles Xavier on Titan.
Yeah, looking kind of silly in that green screen.
He does look, but it looks kind of silly on that chair too. It's very big.
The mind battle between Xavier and Wanda, where Patrick Stewart came in on a reshoot and get his neck snapped.
Oh baby, I love that scene when he walks through and he's just like, Wanda Maximoff, you've been possessed by your alternate self. And like this 90-year-old man tries to pull this girl out of the rubble.
Y'all, real quick. If Charles Xavier exists in this world and the Scarlet Witch exists in this world, is she Magneto's daughter?
Well, so that was the whole thing, is I kind of wish that they'd done the moment where Patrick would acknowledge Wanda as like knowing her
Yeah,
because of Eric, but they didn't do that.
I thought they were gonna do like yeah, I know you in my world.
Yeah, I kind of thought that would have been cool to acknowledge like here she is Eric's daughter.
I have a theory. It's a mutant theory. Just run with me because I've just been thinking about it all week. X-Men are eventually going to show up in the Marvel universe. Eventually, right? I think Wanda is going to be a mutant because she had powers when she was a child that sparked, and then the Infinity Stones brought them out, and they classified it as enhanced or whatever. Right? I think they're going to retcon it eventually when like, no, you were a mutant all along, and your powers just didn't manifest yet. I think that's the future, and I think that's exciting. That's just me, though.
Right, but would that? I mean, she was a mutant and she had chaos magic in the comics. Like it was two separate things. So yeah, it could work.
Yeah, like she was a magician and a mutant. Like those were separate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I just think that's a cool thing that'll eventually I think will happen to make people happy.
I want to spotlight the moment when Wanda kills Peggy. I think Elizabeth Olsen's just doing a really good job because there's the shot after she falls to the ground where Wanda has a look on her face like, is this too far?
Yeah.
This might be too far. I think I'm not happy with this. But then Lashana Lynch's Captain Marvel comes after her before she can really finish that thought.
God, those deaths. I think about those deaths all the time. Like those were brutal, and I loved it.
I truly cannot believe that the first time I saw Reed Richards, he gets spaghettioed.
Right?
It's so like again Marvel like that does something to the brain of Fantastic Four in a tiny way, in a weird fun way. We're like, man, they just killed the Fantastic Four. That's really crazy. I love it.
The Xavier death is like when she comes out of the smoke and she's all demonized. That's honestly like I jumped. Like that's pretty scary.
That's like straight out of Drag Me to Hell right there. Oh, yeah.
I hated that in the fact of how terrifying she looked.
Yeah, for sure.
I was hoping that was like when you see her and she is all like disgusting and corrupted looking. I was kind of hoping that would be like her final form. Like once we get to the closer to the end of the movie, this is like the Darkhold completely corrupted her, and she is ready to like let loose and go hog wild.
Yeah, I do wish there was more of like the Darkhold taking hold of her because she's doing some really heinous shit in this movie. But I really enjoy watching it.
I want to shout out Ross Marquand. You get that Marvel check, boy. I'm so proud of you.
I definitely assumed it was going to be James Spader, but I forgot that Ross did it for Ultron and What If.
Yeah.
So like because I definitely heard Spader's voice or Ross's voice, and I'm like, man, they didn't have to get because it's like off screen, you barely hear it, but like it's there.
Yeah.
And he's in the credits as Ultron, and I'm like, yeah, good job, buddy. I'm happy for you.
Hell yeah. Doesn't have to do a lot, gets paid a bunch of money. Hell yeah.
Get that check, James Spader, turned down.
We're going long. Let's talk about the third act. Let's talk about how cool Zombie Strange is with his cape of ghosts.
Well, we didn't
let's
talk about the music
song
battle.
Sorry. The song battle is incredible.
Fantasia WWE.
Well, like everything leading up to it, also like when they're in the space between, and then Wanda uses the abilities to send Strange and Christine, and then is able to like push her through the thing.
It's so cool that they get to the Book of Vishanti and Wanda immediately destroys it, and it's not the way we're going to resolve this movie.
I'm so happy. It was so good.
And the music battle between evil Doctor Strange and our Doctor Strange is one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The last time we've had a music battle, I think, was Scott Pilgrim, like 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When it's like because Strange like throws the Evil Dead music at Evil Strange, and then Evil Strange makes the strings to connect all the things, and then throws it back. Oh man, dude, I was just like yes.
They're throwing like Flight of the Bumblebee, like Beethoven at each other. I see people online. I'm like, I just don't know what movies you guys enjoy. They're like, they're just throwing random notes of music. Like, it doesn't sound like anything. I'm like, they're playing literal music. Like, what are you guys listening to? This Flight of the Bumblebee was playing.
And that's the score of the scene is that battle.
It's so wicked.
It's so brilliant. I love it so much.
Oh, I lied. Legion. Legion has an excellent scene where Jermaine Clements does a weird thing with musical notes.
Yeah. God, Legion does some of that for sure.
Yeah.
Legion has a really great second season ending battle.
Ryan hasn't seen it.
Not yet.
Yeah. So the Zombie Strange When he's just like, you have to protect me from what? The souls of the damned. Beautiful.
I do like the second like his hand comes out and the guitar licks are gone, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm watching this movie. I wanted to like look at the audience, going, "Am I seeing this?"
Are you guys ready for another Iron Man 3 comparison?
Yeah.
Doctor Strange when he's being overwhelmed by the souls, and she's like, "You're the master of the mystic arts. Use them." A lot like the kid saying, "You're a mechanic. Why don't you just build something?"
Yeah.
We got that same energy, and he's like, "You're right." It just takes
Just like do, and like creates a cloak of the souls of the damned that just is so good. The CGI in this movie is incredible. There are some beautifully disgusting, solid pieces of like. There's monsters that are so unique, and they feel the weight of them. They feel really great. I love it.
So that scene, that Doctor Strange, that evil zombies trainer right there, that's something straight out of Doom.
It's incredible. It is some of the coolest visuals I've ever seen in a superhero movie. Like this is the shit that is reserved for horror movies. Like
you'll have to do more to kill me than to kill me.
That is one of my favorite lines of all time. I'm not like I chuckled so hard. Like I can't believe this movie. He winks at the camera. Yeah.
Old like just when because I caught onto it like earlier when he's just like, can't you only possess living you're living in the other dimensions, like well, who says it has to be living? And that's like Zombie Strange.
There's Chthon temple demons. They look pretty cool.
They look really great.
When Wong gets up and he sees Zombie Strange, he goes, "I don't even want to know."
Yeah,
I don't want to know.
I really liked that part. I really like that the part where Wong is shouting "Strange" was a joyful thing, because the trailer certainly makes you think it's not. The way that they cut it into the trailer, and I was like, "Oh dang, that's awesome!" I'm glad that they didn't kill Wong. I was definitely nervous for a second.
Yeah,
I got that right. Wong remains. I know this is a little later, but Wong remains Sorcerer Supreme. I like that.
There's a nice little like through line of asking Doctor Strange gets asked
For the bow.
Are you happy? Oh yeah, the bow thing. But I'm talking about like the through line of like, are you happy? And that's like a through line thing. And then at the end, he asks Wong, like, Wong, are you happy with the life that you have here? And he's like, I think about the other worlds that I could be happier, but then I'm just like, I'm content with what I have here. And I'm like, that's a good South Park moral of the story, Wong. I like it. Be happy with what you got here, Wanda. Don't kill people.
Well, also going back to Professor Xavier, like there's a thing where he's talking about Strange, and he says, just because they stumble doesn't mean they can't find their way back or whatever.
That's from X-Men Days of Future Past.
And I think that's a really good moment to give to Strange, because he can then later, should the set up something, bring that to Wanda.
Yeah.
Obviously Wanda has killed many people, but like there is, in Xavier's mind, what he wants to pass on to Strange is that everyone can be redeemed.
Yeah.
I just like that.
And I fully believe, again, like this is not the beginning or end of Wanda's vision. We are going through Wanda's vision. It's just unfortunate. This is like, she killed herself to stop the bad boy. I 100%, I really truly believe the next time we see her will be in something Children's Crusade related, whether the X-Men or Doctor Doom are even there. I think those kids, they're going to wait a couple years. Those kids are going to be a little bit older. Why America Chavez is 13. She's younger than the actress who plays her. Like the actress is 16, right? Those 15. Kids are 15. Oh,
15 at the time they filmed, 16 currently.
Okay, so she's 16. Okay. Those kids are around the same age. Instead of making America older, they made her younger. So those kids are around the same age. So all that Young Avengers stuff is coming closer and closer.
I told Zara this, but like the only member of the classic Young Avengers that they haven't cast is Hulkling.
Yeah.
America Chavez is in the second generation, but the entire lineup of the classic Young Avengers are on, except for Hulkling, are on the MCU right now.
Yeah. And eventually I know Iron Lad will probably show up, because they want to, 1, tie in the Kang, 2, tie into anything Iron Man related that they probably can.
Yeah.
Which will be really, really fun to see too, man. Like, again, like I love this movie so much, but again, this is like an Age of Ultron where you're like, oh my God, they're setting up like so much cool stuff that like the possibilities are endless. And I'm like,
I think that's really I think that is the only way that it's like Age of Ultron, because other than that, I do think this is a standalone film.
Yeah.
I think that it does. It has introduced plot threads in a way that any sequel would.
Yeah.
That could be picked up later on down the line. But for the most part, this film is very much like we got a beginning, we got an arc, we got the end, and we're done.
Yeah, it's mostly like a lot of the setup is there's a lot of exposition in the Illuminati scene, and I don't mind it. Like it is like the one place where it's really hardcore. But like it's so this movie is so run and gun and it's so brutal at times. I'm just like any of the flaws I see, I just like. I really like. I this is like a movie. Like I'm not even thinking about it as an MCU movie. And I know that's stupid for the podcast that we do, but I just had such a good time watching a Sam Raimi movie. Like I love it so much as a horror, like a fun horror spooky movie.
Let's talk about Pizza Papa.
He always gets his dough.
He always gets his dough.
Pizza Papa always gets his dough.
Pizza balls look pretty good.
They do, don't they?
He's making pizza balls.
When he he's like, don't worry, the spell will wear off soon. How long? 3 weeks. The end credit scene is so good.
It's
one of my
done.
favorite. It's over.
Definitely, I'm glad everyone in our theater wasn't mad about it. They all had a good time.
Yeah.
You brought it up, Brian, but we haven't actually talked about Clea.
Yeah, I think it's well. First of all, let's talk about the end of the movie where it's the end to Evil Dead where Ash gets taken over by the Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, he partook a little too much in the devil's lettuce of the Darkhold, so he develops a third eye, and that's the cliffhanger. But then we cut to another scene where he's walking down the street again.
Also, I really like that we don't have the typical MCU finale to our battle. The way America puts Wanda in the room with the other Wanda and the boys.
Oh,
and
it's
they're
we
terrified of her. And she says, I would never hurt you. I would never hurt anyone. I'm not a monster.
And then she looks over.
Shit.
I'm so glad you brought that up because that's like one of the best scenes in the movie, and we didn't talk about it. Like her acting against herself is so good, and like it might have taken her more than like a couple dozen bodies to realize the things that she's doing. But like her seeing her scared kids is so impactful, and like her realizing like, oh, oops, I did an oopsie, and then the good Wanda being like, I understand what you're doing. No, they will be loved. That's all you need to say. It's so beautiful. It's so simple. Well acted.
Yeah, Elizabeth Olsen is so good in this movie. Honestly, the whole cast I think is really great in this movie. I think they really have a lot of fun, and it helps them shine.
All of them know what movie they're in. They're all making a fun, like cheeky, but like still like grounded at times, like emotional, like horror movie. They're allowed to be spooky, but also be emotional.
I wanted this movie to be weird. It's weird. It's got great visuals. It has some of the best CGI in the MCU.
People turn into paint.
That scene where you see the living tribunal in a world where everyone's paint. Oh man, that's awesome. There's an eyeball that comes out of a monster. Brilliant. This whole movie, like I cannot say enough about how much I truly loved this movie.
Yeah, if it is unfortunate. Like there was a divide with some Wanda stuff, and again, I don't think. I think if you like took away her being the villain and gave like, oh, she was possessed, I think that would like take away a lot of the movie's bite. So I am happy this is the way the movie went. Unfortunately for Wanda herself, this isn't the end of her arc. Like she will come back. She will come back stronger than ever. Real quick. Last thing I'll talk about before the end stuff, or I guess we're done on the accent, because at the beginning of the movie I was confused, and then I realized when she's being herself, she has the Sokovian accent. When she's putting on a performance, she has the American accent because she was flipping in and out of the accent, and I'm like, what's going on? And then I realized when she's getting really emotional and real, the real accent comes out, and I was like, that's good shit. Yeah. I like it.
It's so nice. I don't want to dig at this too much because but it is nice to see like a seasoned filmmaker come back into the MCU and do something like this and is able to make the kind of movie that he wanted to make. Because that's how the MCU started, and they got away from that to varying degrees of success, mind you.
I think we've gotten certainly better. Like I think No Way Home, while being still kind of in the Marvel thing, is an incredible movie. I think that movie's really good. Like Ragnarok's great. The Guardian stuff is good. Besides Black Widow, like I think we're in a good spot. It's the TV shows we're really worrying about right now.
It would just be nice if we got more of these people, because like we had in the beginning we had Joe Johnston and Kenneth Branagh. Like these are filmmakers who have been doing this for a long time, and then now I got Sam Raimi, same thing. So like I would hope that kind of going forward we get more of this kind of director coming in. I'm not saying I want Michael Bay to come in to do it, like for example, but like maybe Kenneth Branagh gets another shot.
Yeah,
like maybe we get someone who's seasoned again to kind of direct this movie and make it something that will be special.
Like when you have things like Ragnarok and this movie come out and they show like you can make these types of movies and still be the director you want to be. Like Sam Raimi has talked explicitly. His interviews are so delightful. He's talked in so many interviews how like Marvel was really free reign on what they let me do. They said these are the plot elements you need to put in the movie. Besides that, do what you want. And I fully believe that. And it feels like, again, except for some like Black Widow, but that's a different story with that character. Freedom is coming back, and like they're just allowed to make the movies they want. And I'm so excited for Love and Thunder. If this is, if they get Sam Raimi for a second Doctor Strange movie, that's going to be like the greatest thing ever made, like for real. Because like
I really hope
Love and Thunder looks so good.
I really hope Sam Raimi comes back for a third Doctor Strange. But Clea.
I think it's a poorly shot scene, but like I love Charlize Theron. That is such good casting. Unfortunately, she won't be Emma Frost now, but Clea's really cool. What a fun character.
I was really surprised.
Yeah. I didn't expect it on my bingo card. I expected it to be like a passing like oh, I dated a woman named Clea once or something. That's why Sam Raimi has to come back, because he set up the evil Doctor Strange with the third eye, and he set up Clea. It's going to be so fun for another director to come in and just work off that final shot.
Yeah. It was such an interesting bit, because like, you used to get that a lot in like early comic book movies, that like a famous actor would come in and play some famous character. And like we saw that in like Sonic the Hedgehog too. Like that used to just kind of be how it would happen if you wanted a franchise. Mm-hmm. You would tease with a famous actor. And then like that kind of felt like this, where it's like, it's not just some random girl shows up. It's Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
That's a famous actor.
Honestly, I know it's too early for X-Men, but like the rumors were she was being courted for a Marvel role recently, or like relatively recently. The movie's out now. So I was like, God, if Emma Frost would be so perfect. But like Clea is a fun, potentially one movie character that they will be really fun. Bring back, God, they gotta bring back Sam. They gotta.
It is his favorite Marvel character. Hopefully he'll be back.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to add, or should we? Because I could talk about this movie all night, but
I could too, but it's late. I really enjoyed it. Like, I would much rather have a vision that's has problems than a 4-quadrant movie that serves everyone. That's kind of okay. And for me, this movie, like, again, I got a new Sam Raimi movie. Not just that, I got a expensive new Sam Raimi movie. With characters I love. Like I'm so happy with this movie.
Who'd you rate it?
I still think Spider-Man's a better movie. So I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
Sparks?
Yeah, I'd say I'm solidly in a 9 range.
Ben?
Yeah, I'm in a 9 too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I really, really loved this movie. Wish I could talk about it all night. I'm gonna give it a 10.
I've listened to the Ringerverse podcast. Like I've listened to multiple like 3-hour-long podcasts about this movie just because I love hearing people talk about it, and I love hearing all the different opinions, because like this is one of the few where I think like everyone is right. Like the stuff with Wanda is gross, but I also think it's an incredible movie. Or like if you aren't so tied to the MCU, it's not as important. I know it sounds shitty to like talk about representation and like in women's health, but you guys want to talk about like regular people going to see this movie. I think you're going to have a really, really good time.
I just kind of look at it like, I don't have any problems with this movie personally.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, it's great. It's one of my favorites. 10.
I cannot wait for the bloopers for this movie. It's going to be so fun.
So
I want to see what Sam Raimi threw at an actor.
So Max here, guys.
What
Max also gives it a 9.
Cool.
Good movie.
Should we get into a book club then?
Real quick. Remember before Spider-Man came out and we were so worried and the movie was great? And then we were super worried about Doctor Strange and it ended up being great. I gotta maybe we should not worry so much. about Marvel. Sony, F those guys, but maybe Marvel's like, those movies.
Specifically, Pascal. We cannot blame an entire company for one
That's
woman's
true.
psychoticness.
No, that's true. That's true.
I mean,
Sorry,
Sony
Kevin.
did
Feige.
give, I mean, as much as we like to crap on Sony for some of the Spider-Man films they have given us, Into the Spider-Verse is still fantastic. That's still a 10 out of 10 film.
Don't forget V2, Electric Venomaloo.
All right, shall we book club?
Let's do it.
Sparks, take it away.
Okay, so we're doing America Chavez, Made in the USA. It's written by Kalinda Vasquez and with lead art by Carlos Gomez. And it's a little 5-issue story about America Chavez. And it's kind of doing some stuff to change that character's backstory. How you guys feeling?
I think this is a perfectly fun, good, like light and breezy, fun story. It is unfortunate. I think if you don't know anything about the character, it's not as important. I do think the retcon is weird. I think it's a weird choice. We'll explain it more once we get into it. It just feels like completely weird and random. And the thing they do with it is incredibly similar to the all new Wolverine plot, where like Wolverine has a family that's cloned and like an evil sister and all that stuff. So it's very similar to something I've read before. I think the art's really nice. I really like the art. It's probably my favorite thing about it. I thought it was good. I didn't love it, but like I enjoyed reading it.
Ben?
I just pretty much echo a lot of what Ryan said. The art is the standout for me, but also, I mean, I liked it. I don't hate it. To me, it was kind of fine. And also, I didn't know that was a retcon until I went onto Twitter a few hours later, and I saw Ryan's like, "Yo, American Chavez fans, how'd that retcon go?" I'm like, "Oh.
Yeah," because I heard about like quote unquote controversy about it. So I haven't read this. I didn't read this book yet. And some people aren't as problematic. I don't think it's as problematic. That's fine too.
I don't think it's problematic.
Not problematic. So I don't mean problematic. I think it just like it takes away what's special about the character.
I will say I like the art.
Yeah.
And other than that, I actually actively disliked this one.
Oh, okay.
Because I think it is a fine story that for me falls completely apart because its only purpose for existing is to deliver this retcon. Because there's a thing where it's like there's a lot of pages where it's like it's flashbacks mixed with like normal things, and I don't quite think they're spaced out as well as they should be. There's a lot of like, we need to make this character. It's at the end of the day, it's everything you thought you knew was wrong.
Yeah.
Like that already. I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that story plot. I don't like the story device. And then also harp on the fact that like, not only do they retcon her origin completely, but it then becomes like they've also depowered her because now she's sick.
Yeah.
And so like you kind of just take away the fun of a comic book.
I will
honestly.
say the one positive I do like about this, and that is the one thing that the fans do agree, they gave her a Earth family that she didn't have before, and I think all that stuff is really nice. Grounding her to Earth and having her like have like a connection that's not a bunch of superheroes. I think that's really great. She already was kind of a Superman, like what's the word, like not allegory, like Superman comparison. Like she was, beautiful planet gets destroyed, her parents send her to a new world, she's super strong, like that kind of thing, right? So they made it double down by giving her an Earth family, like the Kents. I have no problem with that. I'm sorry, Sparks, this is your book club. I want to hear what you say.
No, it's fine. I think that the best parts of the book are the stuff about the Santanas.
Yeah, I really like it.
Just fleshing out like her kind of the reason and the way that she's pushed them away and out of her life and how that evolved over time, I think is all very good.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I think that's all, and the art. I think the art is fantastic throughout. But I think that the Santana stuff is the strongest part and the most like the worthwhile to enjoy. I understand why they were wanting to shake up America's origin, because they wanted to revisit the mom's thing and kind of try and take it away from the kill your gays trope that it originally started in. But I don't know that this was the way to go about that.
Yeah. I mean, you still kill them.
Yes, but you've developed them more. I think that was the intention, is to leave not only development more on the table, but like an open-endedness to learning more about them, because now they are people that you can familiarize with on Earth.
Yeah, it's the aspect of that, like the utopian parallel was like it's like this perfect society, and America had the two moms, and then like something happened to the society, and she got sent to Earth through a portal or whatever, right? It's that all that is not real, and it's all a white guy's scientific experiment, and that's just where I'm just like, why? It's such a baffling choice.
She manifested this like fake story, and then the way she figures it out is her sister only exists to exposition dump.
Yes.
Which I found very frustrating, because we don't really develop that character as a character. We just kind of have her just exposit a lot, and then through her exposition later in the book, America takes the serum, and then we just kind of we catch up at the end. We do the epilogue of what we've already seen, and then we're like, "Oh yeah, you're right, sister." And I was like, it's like that feels really weird and forced. Like we just kind of like all of a sudden we're like, okay, we need America to be on this, to be into the story now. We need a way to say that this story is true.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I kind of wish they didn't.
Yeah, I do think I always do enjoy when comics open in media res. So like she's fighting a bunch of like mole monsters with who's this member of the West Coast Avengers? Kate Bishop. Yeah, I was looking at her girlfriend's page, who I didn't remember her name. But yeah, like the whole opening in media res thing of like she's part of the West Coast Avengers. Like that's all fun. I always enjoy like good action, but like then it just leads into the sister stuff. And again, like I am so in love and familiar with Tom Taylor's All New X-Men or All New Wolverine, where it's just a very similar plot about an evil sister and cloning. And I'm just like,
I think even without this, like you've seen this before, and there's nothing new here as far as like the estranged sibling story.
Yeah.
There's just nothing different about this character.
And for me, it just kind of takes away the fun of a comic book. Like it'd be like taking away Superman's Kryptonian origins to me. Mm-hmm. Like we just kind of take away the thing that makes this unique to the comics, you know?
Yeah. I did think it was useful. I knew there was controversy around this, so I didn't know the specifics, but I do think it's useful to do this. This is like very current America stuff. This is what's going on with her right now. I find it like half a cool look into America's character again, like through the Santana stuff. I think putting her Earth family back at the forefront, wanting to put a more direct line to her as a parallel of a Puerto Rican immigrant into the States is good. But like the stuff that's not allowing it to do proper exploration past like that flashback moment when she does say, I'm going to leave the family. I'm going to be a Chavez, not a Santana. And that we don't get like, that's all I want to mine. I just want to mine that relationship and her coming back to that world.
Yeah, I got the page here, and like having like a Latin writer helps with this, because like they really go into like, remember America, people who look like us, we have to keep our heads down, we have to play by the rules. Like bringing like real world stuff into this is really great, and I think that's really cool. And it's only in like the flashbacks, and like it doesn't really carry over into the big superhero stuff, which I guess that's fine. Like it doesn't, you don't have to make everything political, but like you're diving into that stuff and you don't really do anything with it.
Right.
I just don't like that they depowered her to the point that she can't hop dimensions anymore.
Yeah, and what's so funny is everyone assumed they were doing this because of the movie, and they don't. She is the same character. If anything, she's going to be just like the comics she used to be, or she's like one of the most powerful characters in the universe. We didn't talk about that in a review real quick. Having America be like the multiversal hopper, she is going to be super vital to the next couple years. Of stuff. I think that's
now she can control it.
Well, it makes you wonder, right? Like, did this get written when they caught wind, like her initial way she was going to appear when she was going to be an important plot point in No Way Home? Was it going to be different? And then they ran with this, and then things changed. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's just like half of it is good and half of it isn't. The art's great throughout. I do like the parallel pages of the Star in the flashback when she loses her sister.
Oh,
and
sure.
then when her sister falls through, I think those are both awesome pages.
They are. Here's the thing. I agree. I think that art on those pages is beautiful. The second where Catalina falls through the hole, it doesn't make sense. If you look at the previous page, the paneling and it's terrible. There was no instance of showing her fall through the portal, and then the next page she's falling through the portal.
I thought I missed something.
It's not even the only like section where something like that happens.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like just like rush scripting or something, but like the art's great, but like there's like a missing page.
There's a world where you can make this story a lot more emotionally resonant, but like I do think like this feels like it was rushed. It was a rush job to get this retcon out, and I don't understand why that would be necessarily the case.
Yeah, and I do think again like I'm fine with a retcon is if you make it cool and interesting. It's like taking away, yes, like the killing of gays things. Like I 100% agree with that, but like taking it away that like her superhero moms from this alternate universe were just actually a scientist like working for this white guy. And also America isn't the only superpowered character. There's dozens of these little starlings. Like that takes away all of what makes her
special. They all dimension hop?
Yes, not dimension hop, but you see them all punching. You see them at a point when the starlings are all punching the guy and they all have like blue stuff coming out of their hands.
Yeah, so they're like
so she's not
if you're going so if they can so can they so the question that I have like can they dimension hop? And if not, why is America the only one who can?
Yeah.
Because now you open yourself up to that criticism of like, okay, well, you didn't, and then they take away her dimension hop in the hope that we'll just forget about it.
It's very interesting. I'm curious because I'm not sure what's happening with her directly in the comics. This comic came out, I believe, last year. I don't know what book she's currently in. I'd be curious to see.
I don't know that she is in a book right now.
She might be in, like, I don't know if she's in some side teen book. I just don't know about because I think West Coast Avengers is no longer happening.
Yeah,
I think her last appearance might have been in Champions, but not as like a regular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she wouldn't be a champion.
Right.
She was on the Ultimates. She was great on the Ultimates. Al Ewing's the Ultimates.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is probably the last time she was hella great. Yeah. She even says in here, she's like, I've been a Young Avenger, a West Coast Avenger, or even an Ultimate. I'm like, yeah, girl, you have. Yeah, you have.
Let's briefly talk about You're Not Alone by Claribel A. Ortega and Adriana Mello from the Marvel Voices Comunidades special.
This is just a cute little story hanging out with a friend. Like sometimes, asking for help is okay, America. This one was like a little more like I mean, it was less pages, but it was just like a fun, simple story of her hanging out with her homie, Amadeus. Yeah. Whose name is Braun. I don't like it. Sorry, I don't like it.
Yeah, that's the super name.
He's not Hulk anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ugh, Braun.
Yeah, I didn't know that till this read either.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I mean, I was like, she was like, oh, cool, totally Fantastic Hulk. And then it's like, what do you mean, Braun?
Yeah, I was like, that was years ago, my guy now.
I mean, I know, but
I mean, after that run, he must have just been like, I want to still be a Hulk, but not like a big Hulk. I just want to be like a normal Hulk.
Totally normal Hulk.
Yeah, I thought it's a nice little follow-up. America kind of feeling like crap.
It is
getting a pick me up of like, don't feel like you got to take it on alone.
Yeah, it is a direct continuation because it's talking all about Catalina and like I got to go find her and all that stuff.
Yes.
And Amadeus is like, yeah, family's important.
Yeah, that's the whole mess and like mission statement of it is Braun, can you help me try and create a portal to find Catalina, and it fails.
I also like the art in this. It's not the same person, but
no.
It is still a very fun cartoony.
Yeah. Just a taste of America Chavez, maybe not the best taste, but certainly like one that's more representative of what's currently going on in the comics.
So just doing a little digging, unfortunately, Misc Chavez has had nothing but not loved runs because she's had a 12-issue miniseries years ago that people really don't like either. So I saw people recommend what book to read. This was like the de facto book, which unfortunately, like, it's kind of fine.
This is what I was looking at too, is like the solo runs for America are not so great. She's only gotten great play when she's appearing as not the lead in other books, whether
which
it's
is a bummer
or someone else's.
That's a bummer.
It is a bummer. It's something where you kind of hope that'll change, but
after this movie, I guarantee we'll get a number one eventually.
There's only like 2, maybe 3 America solo things. And yeah, this one is the highest of praise, so like it is what it is.
Hell yeah. I'm still glad I'm still glad you picked it. Like I always like reading characters that I'm not super familiar with because like I like having that knowledge.
Yeah, and I like her as a character. Like even like with the crap that's happening here that I don't care for, like her as a character, I still really enjoy. Especially like I do think that the stuff digging into her Earth family, and again like digging into that very analogous lifestyle of her as a Puerto Rican immigrant is worthwhile to dig into, and then becoming a superhero and the family that's taken you in, not super thrilled about that, and their concept of family kind of clashing with yours. I think all that's very good. It's something I wish that the story had mined more.
Yeah, I agree. I'm trying to see if there's any more recent run than this, and I don't think there's a new series yet. Yeah, not yet.
All right.
Ben,
Anything else?
Nope. Can't all be winners, so it's all right.
Ben, it's your book club next week. Do you know what it is?
Not a clue.
Cool.
hell yeah.
All right. We'll find out later on Instagram. Next week, I think we decided earlier today we'll do Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Nick Cage.
Yeah, barring any issues, that's probably what it's going to be.
Nick Cage.
So stay tuned for that. And the week after that, probably Top Gun is the week after that. What's the week after that? I forgot.
If you guys don't want to review Top Gun, we don't have to. I'm going to see it, but we don't have to review it.
I want to review it.
Okay.
I'm sure Ben wants to review it. He's super stoked.
I kind of do, actually. Yeah.
I do wish we live together or live closer, Sparks, so we can see Top Gun, because I know you haven't seen it yet.
Still have not seen it. No,
It's okay.
Try to watch it before the new one.
If you want to.
I mean, I intend to, because I feel like I'm going to be a little bit confused if I try and go in as it is.
Who knows? All right.
Not my problem.
I guarantee you.
Not my problem. Go see the
guarantee
movie. I
you-
want to review it.
They are going
I
to
don't
make
give a
it
shit how you do it.
open that if you haven't seen the first one, they'll give you all the information you need. It's been like 30, 40 years. Like, yeah.
My favorite thing about going to see the first Downton Abbey movie was that in the beginning of the movie, there's just a recap of the show.
Apparently,
That's really
there's-
nice. The
apparently
Marvel
there's
method.
Iceman, who's Val Kilmer, but then there's also another guy, and he's dead. And Miles Teller is mad about it.
Yeah. Talk to me.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. So yeah, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent next week. Stay tuned.
Hell yeah.
There is a couple of things. Hey guys, like this video, subscribe to this channel. Mag, you too. Stay safe.
Thanks for staying so late with us, Mag. This was a long one.
Well, it's a really good movie.
No, I'm happy about it. I'm always happy.
Again, like this video, subscribe to this channel, check out all sorts of things such as our Figures Watch series, which just wrapped up Moon Knight. We'll have wrapped up Moon Knight soon. Star Trek Picard, starting Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and soon Obi-Wan Kenobi. So stay tuned for all that. Of course, we have Basement Arcade pause menu.
Real quick,
Nope.
sorry. There was a good joke that I liked in America Chavez. America punches a portal to drop Catalina somewhere, and she's like, "I'm going to drop you to the lowest hells of Earth," and she drops her in New Jersey. That was pretty good. Sorry.
So Basement Arcade pause menu, Animation Station, and Fake Nerd Book Club. Also shows you can find on this channel. Check them out. We have a Patreon. We have a TeePublic. I'm not going to do the mask thing anymore. Nobody's wearing masks anymore.
Surprisingly, yeah,
They
the people up here masks don't exist apparently, and I'm like, oh, interesting.
You're in a very conservative area.
I can tell.
The KKK are there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. We have a Patreon. We have a TeePublic. You can help us. You can support us there. Yeah. All sorts of stuff. Or you can find all the links to everything on our website at fakenerdpodcast.com. Thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you to everyone who watches the live show, and thank you to everyone who watches the rewind later on.
Thank you.
We greatly appreciate all of that support. Thank you to Jeremy Vellucci. We love you. He did all the music you've heard tonight, all the music for all of our shows. You can find him at Jeremy Vellucci Keyboards, as well as his podcast, Suburban Proctologist, on iTunes, Facebook, Suburban Proctologist Official, or Instagram at SubProc Podcast.
I can find them right over there.
Right over yonder.
In the other room, right over there.
You can find our good friend Mike Matola, who's done 3 of our logos. You can find him at Mike Matola on TikTok and Instagram. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast, fakenerdguys@gmail.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us personally, I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. I also write for Screen Rant, where I've written a number of articles. I write for Atomic Geekdom, again, a number of articles, including a revisiting the Infinity Saga series that you can check out all the posts for. And I edit for KaijuRamenmedia.com.
Yeah.
Ben.
Skronk.
Oh, my turn. You could find me ranting about retro video games or rambling about retro video games at BenMaga27 on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Also, you can find me writing for Old School Gamer Magazine, Fusion Gaming Magazine, and GoToNintendo.com. And also, guys, my first published article in OSG is coming out next month, or this month, actually. I saw what it's going to look like in the magazine. So, woohoo.
That's awesome.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sparks.
You can find me in the multiverse of mad praise for Doctor Strange 2 at Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty.
Theaters can't get enough of Doctor Strange. You could find me everywhere on the internet at DJ Tony Snark. You could find me playing a Mass Effect on Mass Effect Mondays over at Twitch at DJ Tony Snark 616. And I put up my schedule that I'm going to play a different game every day. That's not good. That's not feasible for me, guys. I'm probably going to play Mass Effect and Batman. So get ready for Mass Effect and Batman. Maybe some Elden Ring. DJ Tony Snark.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music and Podcasts, and Pandora. Rate and review wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it. Like this video, subscribe to our channel. Until next time you see us, guys.
It's over!